Eagle 98.1 Game Day is on. Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Yingling Flight. This is LSU football.
Again, Green going to motion at the snap. Give to Berry up the middle. Lunges forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. They'll hand it off. Johnson breaks away to his left. Stays upright at the 5 and finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Tonight from Tiger Stadium, it's the LSU Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, here's Charles Hanagriff and Matt Musso.
Welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day. I'm Charles Hanagriff along with Matt Musso and our entire staff at the flagship as we count you down to kickoff of tonight's game between the LSU Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks. LSU enters with a record of 4-1, 1-1 in the Southeastern Conference. They're ranked 11th in the nation by both the writers and by the coaches. 2 weeks ago, LSU lost their first game of the season, 24-19 in Oxford, Mississippi, to Ole Miss. If it feels like it's been a long 2 weeks, it's because it has been a long 2 weeks. LSU having 14 full days to stew over the loss at Ole Miss, which, frankly, with what is happening today between Ole Miss and Washington State is even more concerning, as if that's possible. LSU's hopes tonight rest on two things, in my opinion. Number one, the health of quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, which seems to be a moving target these days. At times, Nussmeier has delivered the ball with effectiveness, zip, and accuracy. Other times, it looks like the torso injury that has bothered him for going on a month now has limited his ability to throw the ball down the field with strength and with accuracy. The second thing would be LSU's offensive line, which did not have their best day at Oxford. We figure to see another combination today with the absence of Paul Mubenga and the return of Weston Davis. How Brian Kelly and Brad Davis plan to attack this from the left guard and the right tackle position is something we'll be talking about during the show today. LSU at home badly needs this win, lest they have all of their slack in the rope taken out for a potential run to the college football playoff. South Carolina enters with a record of 3-2, 1-2 in the SEC. They also had last week off. 2 weeks ago, they beat Kentucky by a score of 35-13. South Carolina is led by quarterback Lenora Sellers. If that name's not familiar to you, get used to it, because this is a guy whose name is not only going to be in all of our talks today with trying to stop South Carolina, but next spring when the NFL draft comes along, don't be surprised if his name is the first one called. A year ago in Columbia, Sellers had a fantastic first half. South Carolina jumped out to a 17-0 lead, but Sellers was injured in that half, and in the second half when he came out to try and start, he couldn't go. It was a huge factor in LSU being able to reel the Gamecocks in and win the game by 3 points as South Carolina missed a long field goal at the gun. Containing Sellers today, both with his arm and with his legs, will be priority number one for the LSU defense, which had their problems 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss. So they were able to keep the points down, and they got enough stops. They did give up a lot of yards, though. This is a different type of challenge. South Carolina has arguably the most talented quarterback in the country, but they this ought to be familiar territory for LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker. He's looking at a team that is last in the Southeastern Conference and flat out cannot run the football. He ought to be used to that. He goes up against one of those in practice every day that can't run the football. So the challenge today is to get to Sellers.
For sure. And I mean, look, I agree with you. He's definitely the most dynamic quarterback in the country with his legs, in my opinion. He hadn't really been able to showcase that often because, well, he just doesn't have the same weapons around him, specifically Rocket Sanders. But whichever team's going to run the football tonight is going to win the game, because they're going to be able to control the tempo, they're going to be able to control the pace, and they're going to be able to keep the other defense off balance. And, look, I'm not expecting a competent running game to really walk through the door for LSU anytime soon, but can you go out there and run for 140, 135? If you do, I think you'll like the outcome tonight.
That would be a significant upgrade over what you've had in the recent games. We're glad that you're with us here. If you're on your way to Tiger Stadium, be sure to stop by Rouse's here, Burbank at Lee. Get all of your tailgating supplies. They want to cover your spread all of your beer, all of your wine, all of your spirits available here. Tons of ice, and of course, you can get all of your food, your Louisiana seafood here, the Chop House, the bakery, the Mongolian Grill, the Chef's Collection, all of those things available here, plus all of your supplies, your plates, your utensils, your trash bags. They have everything that you need here at Rouse's, just a very short drive over to Tiger Stadium. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day Skull Session Offense. Presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
Countdown to kickoff, about 4 hours and 55 minutes. We bring in Gordy Rush here to talk about tonight's game. Gordy, good afternoon.
Hey, Charlie, how are you?
I'm great. There's a real kind of a buzz, I think, around campus. I was out there this morning a little bit. I think the weather and the fact that there's been 2 weeks without football has got people ready to go. So looking forward to a full house tonight for this game. And let's just start. Let me not bury the lead here. Garrett Nussmeier spent the first week of the 2-week bye or 2-week prep period for this game, really not throwing a football very much. Brian Kelly said he spent most of it throwing a towel. You'll excuse the unfortunate metaphor there. But this week he was back to normal. Kelly says his velocity is back to pre-injury levels. He said that on Thursday. So what is realistic to expect from Garrett Nussmeier tonight from a health standpoint?
I don't know, Charlie. Now that I've seen a full sample of 5 games, it is best I think Southeastern, I would have said a 7 or 8 based off the Garrett Nussmeier that we've known, and just seeing, you go back to the guy that we saw throw against Georgia in the SEC championship game where LSU was behind and he was throwing the ball over the yard, and so I thought he was a 3 or 4 against Ole Miss. I mean, the film doesn't lie, right? When you turn on the film, and there were 2 opportunities to stretch the ball down the field. Once he was short on a one-on-one matchup. The other one was a free play where Ole Miss was offsides, and Hilton had 2 steps on the defender, and he just couldn't get the ball there. And so, based off the film, and I don't know what's wrong. We know that throughout camp we've heard a little bit about they shut down the arm, the abs, and we know that he got rolled on his knee during camp. Let's assume it's a combination of little things, but I'm hopeful that this week of rest that he is better.
It would help him a great deal if there was a complimentary running game, and I thought LSU gave up on it way too early at Ole Miss. So let's talk about 2 things. Let's start with South Carolina's defense, which is in the bottom half of the SEC in rush defense. They're 11th, giving up 143 yards a game. That didn't matter at all at Ole Miss. They were the worst in the league in rush defense going in there, and LSU, I thought, got away from it too early. And watching Washington State today against Ole Miss, I haven't changed my opinion. They're running for 7 yards a carry, and they've got the lead in the third quarter in Oxford in the middle of the third quarter. So let's talk about run game. They get Caden Durham back, and let's talk about what they see against this rush defense for South Carolina.
I think they're going to see the same thing that they've seen the whole season long. If I'm South Carolina, why would I change a recipe in what's worked against LSU, right? There hadn't been a commitment to the run. I have 2 outstanding edge rushers in Stewart and Thomas, so I feel like, one, I can get pressure on the quarterback without having to blitz. And then LSU's just shown a commitment to throwing the football even when you drop 7 and 8. You got 4 or 5 receiver routes in the 7 and 8. So I don't think they change anything. These are probably the best pair of edge rushers that LSU's seen maybe all season, or are close to the group that you had against Clemson. And that's where they actually, are good with the edge rushers. So I think you come out at South Carolina. I think South Carolina's going to run the same thing everybody else did for going to Pete Golding and Ole Miss, for him to change up really philosophically what he does well. He likes to bring a lot of pressure packages, but he played a lot of shell, and it worked against that. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight. And
so you're talking about 3-man fronts.
Yeah, 3 and 4 man. They play more 4, but I think 3 and 4 man fronts, and especially on first down, and unless you get into I think some tight fits, and you want to make LSU, I want to see, if I'm South Carolina, I want to see how's Nussmeier's health, 1, and 2, are they actually going to commit? Is LSU going to commit to running the football and until I get out of it? So why change what's worked against them so far this season?
How big of a difference does a healthy Caden Durham make?
I think it's huge. I think, when you go back and you look at the film, I think there were too many times where, whether it was Thomas or Johnson, and when you get in and you see the tight cut, and you see, there were some times where just lack of execution. There were times that they slipped. There were times where I think there was daylight there and they didn't find the hole. And then you combine that with a couple missed assignments with some of the subs that you had on the offensive line. The execution wasn't there in the run game. And then I'm interested to see if we see some different run packages. We've seen a couple counters, mostly some inside and outside zoners. There's some different run plays or run schemes we'll see, or we're going to see tonight.
They get Weston Davis back. They'll be without Paul Mubenga today. So this puts left guard and right tackle. It gives you some options. Cohen Eccles took most of the snaps this week at left guard, but you also have Carius Kern, who has worked there, and DJ Chester, who can play pretty much anywhere. And at right tackle, Kern played the entire game at right tackle against Ole Miss. So you have him. You have Davis, who started the first 4 games, and you have Chester, who can play over there. So there's a lot of different combinations that they can go with, Gordy. I'm expecting to see Eccles and Davis first, but I'm not glued to that. See how you feel about that. And after that, what other combinations make the most sense to you, if any others?
I think those 2. You go with those 2. I was really surprised that you didn't see Chester in the second half at Ole Miss after he was he was in the locker room because of the targeting penalty against Southeast. Look, in general, I don't know how much to scheme and what have you, but I'd like to see this offensive, I don't care who's in the game, come off, fire off the ball and hit some people, right? And even to me, when you see him in the 3-man and the 4-man front, you don't see bodies moving down the field.
I agree, and it's why I think that the lineup should include Carius Kern. If you want to put him at left guard or you want to put him at right tackle, take your pick. But he's the one kid up there who'll flat out come out there and hit you. My preference, not that anybody cares, but my preference is to have Cohen Eccles at left guard and Kern at right tackle. They're going to make some mistakes with their inexperience, but they're the two most physical kids that I've seen up there, and that's the combination I'd like to see. I think it'll be Eccles and Davis, so it bears watching there as far as the LSU offensive line. They should, Gordy, I'm sorry, they should really take this to heart. I mean, they have been raked over the coals for the last 2 weeks in the lack of running game. Right. I tend to point as much of the finger at the two coaches, the OC and the offensive line coaches, I do at the kids themselves, but it's a group problem, and they got to fix that tonight. They got to get nasty.
Look, I'm interested to see, the changes that are made, and been around Coach Kelly enough, and you guys hear the press conferences and what have you. He's talked about offensive flow of the game. To me, it's been too clunky, meaning too many substitutions, right? Too long to get into play. Then it's a check with me. I think it's really hard for Garrett Nussmeier to get in rhythm. And keep in mind, you go back to this high school film in Texas, they were no huddle, and it was more of a tempo. So I think to get into some sort of rhythm. And then I think lowering the substitutions, I know you got a lot of talent out there, but it just – I think it's – get out there and play football. A lot of people just thinking, trying to get lined up. And, and I'm not sure – I'm not in the opposing coach's room, but – you're running so many things. I think so many times it's specific package for some guys. Maybe it's the motion with Thomas and finding a way to get to him in the ball in space, and maybe you become, your tendencies are pointed out. I think narrowing this playbook, let's go quicker, keep some packages on the field, and maybe just a couple tweaks to what you're doing in the run game. I'm interested to see what changes they've made in the open week after self-scouting 5 weeks.
In a word, faster.
Start fast.
Start fast, but go fast.
Yeah, sure.
I think faster it might help them out. I agree with Gordy there. We'll take a break here. Alabama with a 20-17 lead, but they're facing a 4th down in Missouri territory. They're going to go for it. We'll tell you about 4th and 8. We'll tell you about that when we come back, as well as give you a couple of updates around the country. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session. Defense. Presented by Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Now from the LSU Sports Radio Network, here's Gordy Rush.
All right, a couple of quick updates here as your LeBears countdown to kickoff has reached 4 hours and 40 minutes. Alabama made the first down, but they are now 3rd and goal. 3:54 to go. Alabama leads Missouri 20-17. They play in 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. This has been a close game most of the day here. Alabama going to throw one towards the end zone, but it's going to be it's going to be short at about the 2-yard line. So they got a 4th down and goal coming. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that they will do that, try to put themselves up more than a touchdown. And the other SEC game that's going on right now, Washington State still holds the lead, 14-10 over Ole Miss. That game's got 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. All right, Gordy, last year LSU saw Lenora Sellers. Boy, did they see him. South Carolina jumped out to a 17-0 lead. He was fantastic. He had the one long run, but he made a number of plays in the game. Gordy, getting off the bus, he looks a lot like Cam Newton. Alabama gets a touchdown on 4th and goal. He looks a lot like Cam Newton. He's about 6'5". He's about 250 pounds. He's got a big arm. He can run. He's not as dynamic as Newton. He's not as fast, but he's like I would call him like maybe a poor man's Cam Newton. And if he had played in the second half last year, I think LSU would have had a heck of a time coming out of Columbia with a win. So let's talk about what LSU's game plan is for the big quarterback.
You know, a tremendous athlete. I think has improved throwing the football. And, you know, unfortunately, they've had a ton of offensive line problems. I think they're missing 3 people today. And they've also been dysfunctional on offense. They've not been able to run the football with success. In their 2 losses, he was knocked out of the game against Vanderbilt and when it was a 14-7 game. So, you know, obviously things went downhill for the Gamecocks from there. And when you look at the Kentucky game in which they won last time out, it was the defense that had the big day for South Carolina. They had 4 turnovers. They had a pick 6 for a touchdown. They had a scoop and score for a touchdown. And you know, this offense has been by and large in the big games against Missouri. It was really 2 big plays. So I think this is a good matchup for LSU's defense, and that they want to attack and get after him a little bit. I think Sellers, his Hunt Palmer pointed out on LouisianaSports.net, holds the ball longer than any SEC quarterback. That's not good against this defense. So really what it comes down to, I think, is eliminating big plays. And Sellers is certainly capable of that. That means we get back to probably Harold Perkins playing a little bit of spy. And then they have Nick Harbor, who's arguably the best-looking receiver prospect on paper in this league in terms of just size. And he's a 100-meter track kid, so he's got elite speed. That's how they scored. They had 2 big plays against Missouri, and I think that's the key for this LSU defense, is eliminating the 25-yard plus plays.
And those plays, the ones that concern me most, Gordy, are the ones that Sellers may make with his feet. Trinidad Chambliss last week had 71 yards rushing. He averaged over 5 yards a carry, and he's about half the size of Sellers. I mean, he may be a little bit quicker, but he's about 190 pounds or so. This kid is a load. So without visions of Jalen Milroe flashing through my head, I worry about LSU's. This is a completely different defense. I probably shouldn't even said that. But, Gordy, the plays with his feet are the ones that concern me the most.
No, absolutely. I mean, if I'm going to, this LSU defense is elite, and Mike Shula is looking at all of this film, trying to figure out what to do. And first and foremost, what Ole Miss did well was, their defense got off the field, and LSU's defense was on the field for 50 plays, and probably more importantly, 2 hours of game time, like not game time, but real time. And I mean, I was exhausted. I needed potassium at halftime for standing out there so dang long. They were on the field, and they were able to wear down LSU's defense, and LSU got sloppy with their eye discipline. And absolutely, it's going to have to be a lot of movement, a lot of eye candy. and trying some misdirection to see if somebody will blow an assignment, and whoever's accountable for Sellers makes a bust. And I think that's the key to this, because I think it's a really good matchup for LSU's defense. We get back to some of the spy stuff that we saw utilizing Perkins and whether Weeks is going to be on there, but you've got to account for Sellers in every snap.
And is it easier, not easy, because South Carolina has not been able to really run the football with anybody besides him?
No question. I mean, a year ago, they were fantastic running the football. They had that big back that they transferred in, and so
Sanders.
they were good running the football, and they were physical. Now, that's what I remember last year about South Carolina on both sides of the football. They were really, really physical, and when you put on the film this year in those 3 games against Missouri, Vanderbilt, and South Carolina, in Kentucky, they're elite on the defensive edges, but the size, you just don't see the physicality that we saw in Columbia a year ago.
6 touchdowns. You mentioned the stat, non-offensive touchdowns for this team. And the guy on the sideline is named Beamer. His dad may have been one of the most innovative special teams coaches of recent memory. And so they've got a little of that. Gordy, is any of this just flukish, or are they really creative? And I know a couple of these have been defensive touchdowns. Really creative with some of the things that they do on special teams?
Always. I mean, the Beamers have always been top flight. Punt blocking, and he's got 3. The punt returner has 3 returns for a touchdown, and that's been huge. So no doubt. I mean, you realize you're playing an elite unit. Look, LSU. The LSU's fantastic in special teams. Probably the best special teams they've had since Brian Kelly's been here. Go back to. Remember when LSU was fair catching punts back then, and we've come a long way from that era. So it's a big phase of the football game. And when I look at this matchup, Charlie, this is I think the 9.5 points is fair, and this is all about for me LSU's offense. Find an identity. Are you going to make enough adjustments based off what's happened the first 5 weeks? Because this defense is elite enough to get you to the college football playoffs.
All right, last question. It is homecoming. Do you have a role in the halftime homecoming court? Ooh. Are you like a jester, a page? Are you announcing it? I mean, or you just going to take the easy way out and go to the locker room, get a cold drink?
Charlie, that's a trap question that you're throwing at me. and you're the people that remember back when I was so involved and an expert on the band for a number of years.
Pseudo band director, right?
Yeah. Coach Bertman, since he's slowing down and some of those long talks that we've had now that he's in retirement, he told me to just go ahead and stay in the locker room during halftime. And so I've done that the last 7 or 8 years without anybody pointing it out until you just pointed it out today.
Well, you know what we do around here, we do whatever Skip says. That generally leads to positive results. Gordy, enjoy
Gordo, say something nice about the band. Like solid.
Enjoy the night, Gordy. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you next week early from Nashville.
Oh, I can't wait. Thanks, guys.
All right. Alabama looks like they're going to be able to run this out now 27-17 over Missouri. Yeah. They get the football back, or they still have the football?
Missouri's got the ball. Missouri's
got
the ball. They're moving right now, but I believe we just hit the 2-minute timeout.
Okay. Going to be tough there. And late in the third quarter in Oxford, Ole Miss has taken the lead 17-14 over Washington State. I believe that was a touchdown pass from Trinidad Chambliss to, I believe there was Daquan Wright. I believe that was a touchdown. If that was the earlier one, then it was Chambliss on the ground. That's the other touchdown. So Ole Miss has the lead going to the fourth quarter, but only by a field goal. We'll talk to Shea Dixon next here live at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer.
98.1. Game Day, recruiting with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports, presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair, support your home team.
All right, before we get to Shay, let me get you up to date on what's going on with these games as we come down the stretch here to the 2:30 window. Alabama's got the lead on Missouri. Missouri has the ball at the Alabama 30-yard line, a minute 55 to go. They're down 10. 27-17. So some life from Missouri, but they're going to need some help. Another game that is getting late. Pittsburgh leads number 25 Florida State 27-24. The freshman quarterback Mason Heinchel, making his first start on the road, has thrown a couple of interceptions, but he's also thrown a couple of touchdown passes, and he's nearly up to 300 yards. Pittsburgh trying to hold on there. 6.5 minutes to go in Tallahassee. Good game in Oxford. Ole Miss has taken the lead 17-14. Just starting now the fourth quarter. Washington State with the football. They have been able to run the football at Ole Miss pretty good in this game. They've averaged over 6 yards a carry for 112 yards. So that game is just starting in the fourth quarter. Other scores, number 1 Ohio State leads number 17 Illinois 34-10. Buckeyes got out 20-3 at halftime. Illinois cut the lead to 20-10, but Ohio State has assumed control here in the fourth quarter. They lead it by 24. SMU leads Stanford 31-10. Cincinnati leads UCF 20-11. That game's got about 2 minutes to go. And also in the fourth quarter, James Madison leads UL Lafayette 21-14. All right, let's bring in Shay Dixon now from On3. Shay, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Charlie, I'm doing well. And actually, we'd come out here and done a little live spot from Nicholson, which ended up not being a live because we couldn't hot spot well enough. So, pre-recorded across street from Tiger Stadium. So when Moose was able to get through to me on my phone, I'm I'm impressed. I was very worried about no reception, but I think we've got a lot of early arrivals to the game, Charlie. Campus is already packed.
Yeah, I was out there this morning pretty early, and it felt like it was coming to life pretty good. I think a couple things. I think the weather's got something to do with it. People getting out there early, the weather's phenomenal, and it's been a couple of weeks without football. So, Shay, I know you spent the off week with fajitas and margaritas, but how did the staff spend the off week? I know they had a lot of places they wanted to get to.
Well, hopefully not the same. It was, I guess, not surprising because, Charlie, now they obviously have 2 bye weeks, but you're capped on how often you can see, a prospect. And because of that, and just coming off of a loss, obviously, that they didn't go out on the road really till late in the week. Thursday, Friday, they went and checked in on a bunch of the committed guys and playing their high school games and dropping into the school and seeing some of the younger kids, and whether they handed out new offers or offered them, whatever it was. But I really thought the storyline was from reaching out to a number of recruits and kind of saying, hey, when's LSU swinging by? It was either going to be the next bye week or it was going to be over the weekend, this past weekend. So, Charlie, I think 2 words, self-scouting. Is what they just spent a lot of time doing instead of future scouting. So the next bye week will be the big one when they get out and hit the road and see more kids. And then again, you've got Bama the next week after the next bye week. So no rest for the weary, I guess.
Who's on campus this weekend? Some of the bigger names, some of the more significant names that will be here at this game tonight.
Charlie, we've debated this, and I thought the big news that they're not debated, just talked about it. It's been a sort of main theme of the portal era with high school recruiting and retention and what does it all mean. And I thought some of it past week, but really the season has been the elimination of the spring portal. And that means you got to get it all right in the first portal window. So I think we're at a time when, I know Brian Kelly's talked about the numbers before, I think it's using a little bit different direction than people thought then. I think they're always going to take 10-plus portal guys and what we saw them do 15-plus this past cycle. And I say that to mean that, look, they got 16 high school commits right now. They may wind up with 20, and we can remember back in the day, Charlie, where it was 25, and everybody would sit around and debate how Ole Miss back counted their way to 39 signees or whatever it was. And now the importance of high school recruiting a bit is minimized by having to be really good at retention and having to be really good in the portal. So just so many people have hit the panic button about, hey, they only have 16 commits. Well, the goal is to keep those 16 at least committed. And most of the marquee visitors for today, which is a bit different than Florida, and I think will be different than A&M, is a lighter load. Mostly the committed guys, and then some prospects who are pretty highly ranked for the future, both in Louisiana and elsewhere. But I feel like staffs now everywhere, certainly at the LSU level, Charlie, have really said, hey, how do we just lock in on the guys we have? And getting them to campus as often as possible, which means whether it's Lamar Brown, who practices and goes to school on the same campus you do as a 5-star, or Richard Anderson, another D lineman out of Carr over in New Orleans, is here every time you play a home game. That's the recipe, and those guys are here. I think all but 1 or 2 of the committed guys are going to be here today. So, yes, not a sort of heavy class, but blue chip wise, if people still remember that phrase. Only behind Oregon, Charlie, as the pound for pound best recruiting class in the country.
You mentioned the old days. We really missed an opportunity, I think, to not put a shirt color on the transfer portal guys. I mean, we had red shirts. I missed the gray shirts. The gray shirts were my favorite. And then the blue shirts, right? You remember the blue shirts made an appearance right before the transfer portal. We should have called these transfer portal guys something. Green shirts, orange shirts, purple shirts. We missed an opportunity here, Shay. You could have coined a phrase in recruiting. You know that?
I remember thinking, Charlie, back in the day that, like, the smartest guy in the room was the guy who, like, could add up. Blue shirt. Oh, he's a blue shirt. Oh, he's a gray shirt. This is how they got to 85 scholarship players and, signed 37 kids this past cycle, because that kid won't play for a year or two. And will have to walk on and then get on scholarship. And yeah, I just feel like the obvious management of the roster is so different, and because of that, I've had to adjust to it. I mean, I always thought, oh yeah, sign 25 high school guys. Well, what are we in? We call this fall weather. It's 89 degrees, feels amazing out here, but get close to Christmas time, and that's when everything has to be done now with this one portal window, meaning transfer portal class, your retention, and signing all of your high school kids in December. Yes, February signing day still exists, Charlie, the time when we used to sit in the River Center and listen to you take the mic and announce everybody at 8 a.m., and everybody either would celebrate the day in a fashion or cry about it in the same fashion. But by about 9 o'clock, everything was done. And now that whole thing has sort of shifted to, by December, you better be happy with your team, because if not, it's over with.
One portal, one heartbeat.
One portal, oh Lord, one portal, one heartbeat.
Yeah, there's a term that we can make sure it's for Charlie. Go ahead and get the rights to it.
Yeah. See if I can put that on a bumper sticker somewhere. Shay, enjoy the day, enjoy the weather, and we'll talk to you next week. Early start for LSU against Vandy.
Okay, so just so I don't break tradition here, with no Bam on anymore, 27-17 LSU.
Okay. Did he say 27-17 LSU?
That's what he said.
Okay. That's the exact same score me, you, and Moscona all picked for LouisianaSports.net. That's four of us. If this thing ends 27-17,
I don't know about y'all, but I'm going by lottery tickets.
Yeah, we'll have time.
Yeah,
before the deadline. Alabama did recover the onside kick. It's 27-24, tied with the football. A minute 30 to go. So they are deep in Missouri, on Missouri side of the field, the 34-yard line, trying to get the game over with. We'll take a break, give you a full scoreboard when we return here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The Epic Paving College Football Scoreboard. Epic Paving, Louisiana's preferred paving vendor.
Back the other way, Musso. So we're monitoring Alabama and Missouri. Tigers have the ball back. They're deep in their own territory, their own 18-yard line, but they do have a minute and 11 seconds left. Alabama chose to punt in Missouri territory. So the Tigers get the ball back. They've still got an opportunity here with just a little over a minute to go. Pittsburgh with a 34 is 27-24 Alabama. I probably should have mentioned that. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. They're inside the 2-minute warning in Tallahassee. Number 25, Florida State trailing. Pittsburgh leads 34-24. We told you about the freshman Mason Heinschel. A couple of touchdown passes, 321 yards through the air, and it looks like Pitt is going to hang on and win this
Welcome
thing.
Welcome back to the hot seat, Mike Norvell.
Yeah, you know, they beat Alabama to open the season. They are 2-3 since if this score holds up. SMU leads Stanford 34-10. They're running out the clock there in Dallas. James Madison leads UL Lafayette 24-14. Bowling Green leads Toledo 28-21. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Ole Miss has a 17-14 lead over Washington State. The Rebels have the football back at their own 40-yard line. Washington State has been a sticky wicket today. It's been a tough go for Ole Miss. Northern Illinois leads Eastern Michigan 10-6. That's in the fourth quarter. Kent State leads UMass 14-0. That is in the second quarter. Coming up here as we start the 2:30 window, the big one, game day out in Eugene early this morning. Number 7 Indiana, number 3 Oregon. This number is now inside of a touchdown. There's some Indiana support coming out there, Musso.
Yeah, no, I like Oregon though, big in this game, man. The travel for one thing for Indiana that plays. I think Dante Moore is awesome. He might be the best quarterback in college football. We'll let it play out a little bit more, but I love Oregon's defense. And Indiana just hasn't played anybody. And you know how many top 5 wins they have in their history? One. Yeah. That's it. One. I like Oregon in the zoo to get this thing done and to cover the number as well.
Missouri completes a 4th and 12 pass for a first down up near midfield, so the Tigers still have life. Out of bounds at the Missouri 47-yard line. 52 seconds to go. They're out of timeouts, obviously, because they had to get the ball back, but there is life in Columbia. Missouri with the football up near midfield. All right, Red River here getting going at the Cotton Bowl. Number 6 Oklahoma and Texas. Texas is a 2.5-point favorite in this game. We are going to see John Mateer in this game for Oklahoma.
Man, that blows my mind. 17 days after having surgery on your thumb on your throwing hand. I guess he can grip a football, but I look at these two defenses and I go, this game normally can get into a shootout. I mean, hence the name, but with a hobbled quarterback, the offensive line of Texas, and these two defenses, this one might be a little bit more low scoring.
Also at 2:30, Virginia Tech is at number 13. Georgia Tech, Ramblin' Wreck, is undefeated at 5-0. NC State is at number 16, Notre Dame. Expect a lot of points in that one. Number 22, Iowa State travels to Colorado. Northwestern is at Penn State. Watch Penn State bully Northwestern today off of the loss at UCLA. Nebraska is at Maryland. Wake Forest is at Oregon State. TCU at Kansas State. Air Force at UNLV. App State, Georgia State. Old Dominion, Marshall, Ball State, Western Michigan. 3 o'clock kick for Navy at Temple. 3:15 on the SEC Network. Arkansas is at number 12, Tennessee. Bobby Petrino back under the headsets here, and we expect a lot of points in this one, too.
It's 2012, Hanny. It's 2012. Arkansas's defense, I don't think they're going to be able to hold up. They're not too happy, those players on that side of the ball with Bobby Petrino running the guy out of town. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Legit revenge for Tennessee, too.
Yeah, but Arkansas, Bobby Petrino's so cuddly and lovable. And, you know.
I saw a headline yesterday that said Petrino rides again. I was just like, that is someone has been holding on to that forever.
Funny. Yeah, we appreciate the creativity. Alabama has intercepted Missouri to end the threat. The Tide will hang on here and kneel it out for a 27-24 win. 5 o'clock kick for UAB in Florida Atlantic. 6 o'clock kick in College Station. Florida is at number 5 Texas A&M. Florida pulled the upset at home against Texas, but are they able to translate that onto the road?
That'll be the question, man. Was it just one game or not? It feels like Texas A&M's also been at home for the entire season. They just made the trip up to South Bend. That defensive front, though, Mike Elko's got that defense rolling now. They're scary.
Iowa is at Wisconsin, 6 o'clock kicks. San Jose State at Wyoming, UL Monroe at Coastal Carolina, 6:30 for Kansas at number 9 Texas Tech. If you haven't seen the Red Raiders yet, this is up against LSU, so you probably won't see it tonight. Take a gander over there. They're pretty good. They are how do we say this? New money.
New money.
New money.
And they have a lot of it.
Yes.
They have a lot of new money.
That is that's a pretty good-looking roster over there.
Talk about a good defense, too.
Yes. The Deep South's oldest rivalry is number 10 Georgia is at Auburn. Georgia's a favorite on the road here. Auburn, very, very good defensively. This is one of the better defenses in the Southeastern Conference, if not the country. Their problem has been they haven't been able to move the football very much. Jackson Arnold has been sacked like 115 times, it feels like, and so we'll see if they can get the offense going. Number 15, Michigan, is at USC. The Wolverines are a road favorite at a pair of 4-1 teams. Purdue is at Minnesota. Clemson at Boston College. Rice is at UTSA. 7 o'clock kick for number 18 BYU at Arizona. Troy is at Texas State. 8:45 for New Mexico at Boise State. 9:15, number 21 Arizona State is at Utah. 9:30 for San Diego State at Nevada. And the late game out on the island, Utah State is at Hawaii. And now we've got some earlier finals to catch you up on. UCLA beat Michigan State 38-13 today. And you really got to ask yourself, Musso, just how discombobulated UCLA was under Deshaun Foster, because not only did they fire the head coach, they fired the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. That's a first for me. In season, I've seen ordinarily one of those coordinators or even a special teams coordinator takes over. They cleaned house in week 3. They upset Penn State last week, and Michigan State took the opening kickoff, went down and scored, and UCLA blew the doors off from that point forward. Nico, 3 touchdown passes today for UCLA. Looks like a completely different quarterback.
They look like a completely different team because of it, man. I mean, the energy. I mean, you hear of the interim bump, so it was easy to see why, against Penn State, and it's a hangover for Penn State as well. But for them to go on the road across the country, or halfway across the country, and go get a win in East Lansing by that dominant of it, that's impressive.
Cincinnati goes to 5-1. They beat UCF 20-11. Houston also goes to 5-1. They beat Oklahoma State 39-17. Miami of Ohio over Akron 20-7, and Army beat Charlotte 24-7. That is your college football scoreboard. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice since the 1930s. Supreme Rice has been delighting their customers with a rice that is grown, milled, and processed right here in South Louisiana. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and the parboiled rice. For all your jambalayas, your red beans, your white beans, your etouffees, your stews, anything you're making with rice, make it with Supreme Rice. You're going to save some money. You're going to support our Louisiana farmers. And through the Climate Smart program, we are going to talk about methane reductions, and we're going to talk about water conservation. They're big proponents of those things, and make sure that future generations of Louisiana farmers have the same benefits. And I got to say, a special happy birthday to the First Lady of Supreme Rice, Miss Melissa Hanks.
Hey,
happy birthday, Melissa. So enjoy. I understand they're having strawberry cake out at the tailgate. So happy birthday to her. We will take a break. We come back, a scouting report on the Gamecocks. That is next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report, presented by Demco, providing safe, reliable, and competitively priced energy services to co-op members since 1938.
We roll along here, Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the Rouses on the corner of Burbank and Lee. Counting you down, LSU, South Carolina, Saturday night in Death Valley. Take a closer look at those South Carolina Gamecocks. For that, we go to the Hooters hotline. Welcome in Drew Fabianich. She's the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. Drew, we appreciate the time as always, my man. How are you?
Good, Matt. It's always love being on with you.
Absolutely. The pleasure is ours, and we appreciate the time every week, man. So South Carolina, look, LSU, they're coming off of an open date, thank goodness, and they'll finally get back on the field. They'll take on, so this was a close game a year ago, big comeback for the Tigers. And, man, it was really kind of when Lenora Sellers announced himself to the college football world, was that early morning game against LSU in week 3. That's where I want to start, because the launching point was that game. He turns in a great season. He comes in with a lot of hype. It's been a little up and down. Obviously, he had the head injury against Vanderbilt, missed the whole half in that football game. What have you made so far through 5 games for Lenora Sellers?
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's been kind of inconsistent. Again, I don't know how good the skill positions are around him. There hadn't been a lot of plays made for him, but there's also been some real inaccuracy issues. But he's a very, very talented kid, both run and pass game. I mean, I compared him to Donovan McNabb, which is pretty lofty. Yeah. And, I think the world Donovan, just because I spent a lot of years lining up against him, when he was with Philly. But, I mean, again, I think it's more, getting his feet right, getting his mechanics right, feeling more comfortable in the pocket because, he's airmailing some balls that he shouldn't. I mean, and I'm sure he knows that. And some of it's mechanics, some of it's bailing out, some of it's, just not being on balance on the right platform. I think he'll clean it up. Excuse me. I think he'll clean it up. But it's going to take some better protection and guys making plays around.
It's interesting you bring up the accuracy and maybe the inaccuracies a little bit, because that's kind of where I wanted to go next. And I think everybody knows the athleticism. He's got the arm strength. Where do you see him? When you're evaluating Sellers, where do you see him right now as a passer, considering, look, it's a draft year for him, and even with some of the inconsistencies, he's still projected really high. We got a long way till April, but he's still projected really high. Where do you see him as an evaluator, as a passer at this point in the season?
Well, again, I'm going to look into the accuracy issues. I mean, and that's big, because you'd like everybody to be over 60% accuracy, and right now he's barely at that Mendoza line right now. You'd like to see that improve. He's got all the tools. He's got all the traits to be very successful. I think it's just, like I said, cleaning up the mechanics piece of it, and a lot of it's just lower. It's not the upper that's the issue. I mean, good release point, good stroke. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. He's got to pull it together. And again, he's got till April to do some things the right way. I mean, can he have a better the rest of the season? Can he have a good all-star period, a good combine, a good pro day? I mean, there's so many things that you evaluate with a quarterback, and you have to spend a lot of time with them just to get to know them too. So again, I think he's going to improve. I just think right now he's not quite where he should be.
You mentioned the skill positions around him. And look, he had a lot of talent around him a year ago. There is a drop-off here now in 2025. One of those positions where, man, he couldn't have asked for a better running mate was at running back with Rocket Sanders. Well, Sanders is gone, but now you look at Rasul Faison. He's been the starter for South Carolina. What have you made of him so far through 5 games there for the Gamecocks?
He's been steady. I mean, he's one of those guys that, he's not a top speed guy. He's not he's not a ring the bell guy from 60. He's just really consistent. He's strong. He's strong through contact. He's got a lot of yards after contact. Is he going to make you miss, 3 or 4 times? No, he's not. He's more of a, one cut, get up the field, be physical. And he's been consistent. He's just not one of those guys that's going to ring the bell from 60.
Leads him with 3 touchdowns. Your point of short yardage, very, very much taken, only averaging 4 yards per carry. So that dimension lacks a little bit like it did with Rocket Sanders. Another guy, Nick Harbor at wide receiver, 6'5", 235. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Huge. But also has a little bit of game-breaking ability in there as well at that size, which really jumps off the tape.
Well, and again, like you said, being huge is great, but he can also run. I mean, he can knock the top off, too. And again, he's really kind of a 9-ball guy right now, a little bit of 8s and some 7s. I mean, he's not a guy that is great in and out of his break, but he's getting better and better. But being that long, it's hard for him to, get into breaks and get out of them as well as, small guys do. The issues he's been having is just, the inconsistent hands. He's had some big drops, but he's also had some, big-time catches, too. He's got to develop some consistency, and he's got to use his body a little bit more. And what I mean by that is he's got to use his body to shield off defenders.
How do you think LSU secondary matches up against him just for that size? I mean, look, LSU's got some long corners. It's Corey Raymond's prototype is the long, rangy corner. But again, 6'5", 235 for Nick Harbor. I mean, that's not easy for anybody.
No, it's not easy for anybody. And, secondary guys have got to learn how to, sometimes get to the ball with one hand just to rake a ball out instead of trying to high point against a guy that big, because all that happens is you get posted up just like you do down in the post in basketball, if you don't play it the right way. So I think they match up quite well athletically. And, and again, can they get vertical? Yeah, they can. Can they go after contested balls? Yeah, they can. I think they match up really well. And this way, the corners are playing well, but the tandem at safety's playing really well, too. They really are.
Quickly, I did want to touch on the tight end, Brady Hunt. I mean, Nick Harbor's just about the size of a tight end, but Brady Hunt is their tight end, has been effective in the passing game in limited opportunities.
I agree. He's more of the receiving tight end. He's kind of a position blocker. He is not an inline blocker at all. He's better in space than he is in line, so I think that's why they really don't count on him to set an edge to start the running game. He's more of the receiving tight end, and he's athletic enough for that. He's just not big enough, strong enough to be an inline blocker right now.
Talking with Drew Fabianich, the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. You can get him on Twitter X at DFabeSB. You can find the Senior Bowl at Senior Bowl. Drew, let's switch sides of the ball. And, that's going to have to start with Dylan Stewart, a younger guy, but burst onto the scene last year, former 5-star, 6.5 sacks, playing opposite Kyle Kennard. He's up to 3.5 sacks so far here through 5 games. I mean, if you build one in a lab for a pass rusher, it's pretty much Dylan Stewart.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, when put it this way, he could be the first one off the bus, and you would be quite impressed. Like you said, he's prototype. He's got great burst. He's got great get off. He can bend at the top of the rush. If he continues his trajectory, he can be special. He's just got to put every snap together and not take any plays off. It's hard to do that nowadays when there's tempo and there's their fast-pacing offense. Sometimes you just got to learn to tap out and take a few breaks, take a few plays off. But when he's fresh and he's coming off the edge and you get him in a third down situation, you better account for him and you better chip him.
Have you noticed teams attacking him differently without Kyle Kennard on the other side this season?
I don't know if it's so much attacking him. I just know that there's not, put it this way, there's more attention paid to him than there was last year.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they are keeping a tight end in on him. They are chipping him. And guess what? They were doing it to the other side last year, so he was getting singles, which he's not catching a ton of singles now. And when he does, he takes advantage of them.
to their defensive secondary. And look, everybody wants LSU to get the passing game going along with the running game. Here, they really just want the offense to look like it's looked the past few seasons. LSU's got plenty of weapons on the outside, but there's two pretty good corners in that South Carolina secondary. Let's start with Judge Collier. He's been in and out of the lineup with some injuries, officially questionable per the injury or the availability report, for this game here, but an all-SEC type performer.
Yeah, he is. And like you said, I think he's been banged up, which kind of limited his playing time so far. But, him and Cisse they both have all the traits and all the tools to be successful, not just at the SEC level, but at the NFL level, because, they're great coming out of their breaks. They can close, they can run, they use their hands real well. And, again, they're solid players in the SEC, and they got an NFL future.
Tell me about a little bit about Cisse.
Well, Cisse, plays a lot of time inside, and people go, well, normally that's for a guy that's a little lesser. No, that's not the case. It's harder to play inside at slot corner than it is to play outside, because you're getting more of the smaller receivers that, are running pivots, they're running option cuts off you. I mean, it happens faster in the slot than it does outside. Now, he's capable of playing outside too, but, him playing inside is where he kind of shines. And I think that's probably where he'll play in the NFL. But it's always good to be able to play outside too. And to say that the slot corner is a dumping ground for smaller guys isn't the case anymore. You got to have a guy that's good enough to play outside that you can play inside now, because they're also getting a face full of big slots too coming at you. So you got to be able to handle both.
And it should be a fascinating ball game in Tiger Stadium here in a few hours. Both teams really, really needing a win as South Carolina comes in 3-2 and LSU coming off the loss to Ole Miss and their bye week at 4-1, still with plenty in front of them. Drew, we appreciate the time as always, man. Looking forward to doing it another week. The Vandy Commodores here next up for the Tigers. We'll talk to you then. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Have a good day, man.
You do the very same and enjoy the football. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side, live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way,
and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this
98.1. Orderlocks, presented by Supreme Rice. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed for generations right here in Louisiana. And we're at the Odd House every Monday. It's red beans and Supreme Rice. Parboiled rice, the Odd Father's personal favorite. Now let's get locked in with Jimmy Ott.
Jimmy's own personal tailgate at his house today. Got a big spread today on the grill. Jimmy, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Charlie. How about you?
Yeah, enjoying the football. Been a lot to digest here. Let's start with some of the games in the early window. Alabama, Missouri. Man, this was a good football game. This was competitive. This had some real moments of drama, I thought, and not just the last drive that Missouri could have pulled this thing out. Alabama just a little bit better this afternoon with a yardstick that was almost dead even.
Yeah, Charlie, but also, I mean, Kale and DeBoer, 3rd and 25, they get 17. It's probably too long for a field goal. His place kicker missing relatively easy, inside 40, I believe it was, or right at 40, a field goal pretty bad. And, man, 4th and 8, I was like, well, he's just trying to get it closer, maybe. It's 4th and less than 5 and 4th and more than 5 are big differences, and he goes for it. And they snap the ball at about 1 or 2 seconds to go. I mean, a tough throw. Left sideline, over the shoulder, blanketed, hit after, and they made a throw and a catch. And now that made the 4th and go for the 1.5 look pretty easy decision there. And he throws it to his halfback. But he is a really good play designer, and nobody. It's a can't win. No matter who who follows Saban there, it's a can't win. But he's getting a little bit more comfortable with his play designing and his creative ways and his management, where he's been so good against ranked teams in his career. He beats another ranked opponent today, and it's just kind of doing with his offense. The last one was just a little too long in the situation. No timeouts. Make him go to the length of the field to beat you. At least get closer. So. You could tell he wanted to, but the percentage just won out, and he punted the ball, and rightfully so, and they get the turnover at the end. But I guess it's easy to call plays when you got a really good quarterback, and that's what Ty Simpson is.
It helps an awful lot, and makes it maybe a little bit more difficult to understand that loss at the beginning of the season to Florida State, which they just look so lethargic. And Florida State lost for the 3rd time today. The quarterback for Pitt, this freshman, Mason Heinzel, accounted for 385 yards of total offense. Now, he did turn the ball over twice, Jimmy, but he made a lot of big plays today for Pitt. True freshman, first road start a little bit later in the season, but they pull the upset today. You liked Pittsburgh in this game on the Friday show, and this drops Florida State to 3-3.
No, actually, I like Florida State.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong pick. Okay.
I sure wish I would have punched in Pitt, but I mean, young quarterback making his first true road start, and it was a lean. I got off of an official play because I didn't know if Florida State was going to pull a Penn State, and that was make one tough loss turn into 2. Like they did last week. And they were on their big drive at the end of the first half of Castellanos. I mean, about, 75 yards in less than a minute. In a 25-yard touchdown pass with about 5 seconds to go in a half. So looked like all the momentum was on their side. Keep in mind, one of those first half, both of the interceptions for the freshman for Pitt were first half interceptions. One was on 4th and long. We threw it 40 yards downfield, so it was basically a punt. But the other one, what he did was on key plays. He bought time. Sometimes he ran it and converted with his legs. Sometimes it just was too much pressure on the coverage for Florida State, and he completed them. So, it seemed like third down, fourth downs, a lot of those today. So, Heisman makes a big stride forward. And as we look at Notre Dame's schedule, next week they got USC, but a trip does remain going to Pitt later in the year.
Update on this game, under a minute now. Washington State's got the ball back. They're deep in their own end at their own 16. 24-21 Ole Miss. Washington State had to use the timeouts to get the football back, so they're out of them. They've got to go a long way. They got 47 seconds to go. We'll keep you up to date on that one. The other early game that I wanted to get your opinion on, Jimmy, was, man, listen, I don't know what happened when Deshaun Foster and company left the building out there at Brentwood. But whatever it was, UCLA looks nothing like what they looked in the first 3 weeks of the season. Last week against Penn State, hey, you could say this was just one day, okay? They had a big day. But they came out. Michigan State took the opening kickoff and went down for a touchdown. And after that, this game was all Bruins. Nico looks like a different guy, and they blew Sparty out of East Lansing today.
That's the deal. Little Jerry Neuheisel in his second year calling plays has put, Nico in some more comfortable positions. But also, it's just that confidence, man. He made a throw that Joe Burrow that makes people say, man, that's why Joe Burrow's special. I mean, a really good throw to the boundaries. A similar type of pattern is that Spencer Rattler hit Shaheed last week down the right side, over the shoulder, kind of a slant and flag pattern. And that requires touch. It requires accuracy. And, I mean, he put it on the money. Interference flag going against Ole Miss here late at the game. But anyway, he's a different guy. And, they've now covered their last two games by 31 and 32 points. So this is a different team, and the odds makers are going to have to adjust big time. Childs was benched. He was a problem last week in Lincoln, and a tough loss there. A game that they led late in the third quarter on the road against Lincoln, in Lincoln. But he was benched, and there was one drive by the backup today. But this was all about UCLA scoring on their first four possessions, three touchdowns and one field goal, and just a completely different offense. And then when they want to kill clock, Charlie, they got an offensive line that rushed for 269 last week against Penn State. They were just getting some tough physical yards. We're trying to find teams in college football that are running the ball and showing a power running element. Of all people, UCLA has one right now.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some of the games you like that haven't started yet, some of the later games. We got some good games in the Southeastern Conference. Arkansas, Tennessee coming up here in about 15 minutes. We got Georgia and Auburn tonight. We got A&M in Florida tonight, or any of the other games you might like on the rest of the card.
Starting the SEC, I'll go lean toward Tennessee. I think they'll be fine at home against Arkansas. I think Arkansas, Taylor Green, that's a lot of pressure on him because you figure that Tennessee is going to score quite a few points against Arkansas's defense. The other thing is my favorite play of the day, and boy, they're smooth 1 for 25 the last couple of weeks on third downs.
Auburn.
We're going to take the Auburn Tigers in Jackson Arnold. I've seen much tougher Georgia teams go into this building and have a lot of troubles. I mean, this Georgia team is not close to the one 2 years ago that needed that Brock Bowers touchdown late to win in Jordan-Hare. It's also one of the most public picks in the country today, and that is, Alabama was a big public play, but Georgia is a massive public play today. It's going to be finished today as first or second. It's driving to spread up to 4.5 now. So I'm all over Auburn, the home dog, in that spot traditionally. And just make a few plays in the passing game. 0 interceptions, but that much, you're holding the ball too long. So, and what was the other one that you said, Charlie?
Florida and Texas A&M.
A&M since Elko, how about that defensive adjustment? Since he's taken over the calling the alignments to the plays on defense, they have been unbelievable third down defense. So what is it, 3 for 25 the last 2 weeks they're holding opponents on third down. And so they're back in their place again tonight where they've been tough. And I still think that Florida, I think these teams are really, really close. On neutral, I'd make this a flip of the coin. On the road, sure, A&M's got the advantage, but I'll take over a touchdown in this one. I'm taking Florida plus the 7.5.
All right, it's over in Oxford. Ole Miss hangs on, 24-21 win. Really a smart pass interference by the Rebels at that point, because it's only a 15-yard penalty, and Washington State was not going to be able to get the ball in the end zone from where they were. So that worked out for Ole Miss. They go to 6-0 with that win. All right, Jimmy, the game tonight at Tiger Stadium. LSU, a 9.5-point choice. That line really hasn't budged all week. We're watching Garrett Nussmeier. Lenore Sellers comes in here, a tremendous talent, had a big game against LSU a year ago, and both of these teams coming off of a bye week.
Yeah, both coming off of a bye week, and this really starts a tough run for South Carolina. But how about LSU? I mean, you're looking at the conference games left on their schedule. When are they going to be as big of a favorite as they are over a touchdown today? I did see some 8.5s earlier today, but like you said, it's back to 9.5. And, they're only a 3-point favorite at Vandy. Next week, they won't be favored against Oklahoma and Alabama on the road more than this. And A&M is going to be,
Arkansas is probably the only other one, the only other conference game.
Arkansas did. So both teams really getting ready to go through a tough stretch. Lenore Sellers, man, he was inconsistent last year, but boy, he was having a game against LSU last year, and maybe he's looking for a little personal revenge because I'm not sure LSU wins that game if he is healthy and plays the remainder of the game. Also, the fans certainly think they got jobs in Columbia last week. They've been chirping a lot, but Nussmeier is injured. He's playing less than 100%, but, I want to see what they're going to do with the approach. I'm looking for a very similar approach to Clemson, where you got the ball out of quickly out of his hands. Barian Brown, the touchdown was robbed against LSU. To Brown was one of the few vertical throws that they had. He made it easier on his offensive line, and certainly they were credited with the running attack, rushing 27 times. Durham's back tonight. They should be able to do that, but and this South Carolina defense is not close to what they were last year. They've gone from one of their strengths to kind of a weakness for them this year. But Sellers, his passing numbers are improved, and if he maintains this, I don't know how you're going to choose anybody before him, number one, in this spring's 2026 NFL draft. But as far as the prediction, Charlie, I can give you stronger opinions on 70 more games today than at LSU. I don't know what they're going to bring tonight. So this is a massive stay away. But, could they lose outright? Could they win easily? But this team has had problems scoring, and we got enough, no matter what the blame is, they're just not scoring. Take away SLU, they're under 20 points a game. Man, that seems like a lot of points for a team that's having scoring issues like LSU this year.
Out of Locks brought to you by Supreme Rice.
Discover the benefits and versatility of Supreme's long-grain pour-boiled rice. It's a restaurant-quality rice. I love it, man. It absorbs flavor well, making it a perfect choice for your red beans and rice day every Monday in South Louisiana. So different jambalayas and gumbos as well. The great thing about it, it's packed with nutrients similar to our brown rice, so it's good for you as well. My favorite, the parboiled rice, Supreme Rice Parboiled and rich long-grain rice. It's available wherever you find your Supreme Rice in area grocery stores.
All right, Jimmy, we'll see you tomorrow for Football Sunday from Caesars in New Orleans. That'll be at 10 a.m. Look forward to seeing you then.
See you guys. Good luck.
Okay. Oklahoma with a 3-0 early lead over Texas, and the same score, Indiana leads Oregon a little bit better than halfway through the first quarter. Live here at Rouse's, where our LaBerge countdown to kickoff about 3 hours and 40 minutes. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve.
The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
Dos Equis. 98.1.
Family owned, fully involved, always on site. Start your build at WesleyUSA.com or follow us on LinkedIn.
Eagle 98.1 WDGL and HC1 Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Off the bench on Game Day. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana. Off the Bench is heard weekday mornings at 7 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
All right, well, speaking of the Tigers, they've got South Carolina coming to town. It is a matchup where LSU is a favorite. They are a 9.5-point favorite. I believe that's a line that I saw last time that I checked in there. It's obviously a must-win situation for the Tigers. Both teams coming off of a bye week, and so I'm going to anticipate there's going to be something new. These teams will have something new for the other team. There's going to be something that you haven't seen before. Now, both these teams are bad at running the football. LSU 15th in the SEC, South Carolina 16th in the SEC, right? So that's the point of emphasis probably for both teams. For South Carolina, they're looking for weapons to help out Lenore Sellers. He doesn't have a running game. He doesn't have a go-to receiver right now, so they're trying to find one, and it's been really troublesome for them. Like, when you watch that receiver core, it is not consistent. Even though they've got guys that look great in their uniform, they're looking for somebody that can step up and be their go-to target. Like for LSU, trying to find ways to run the football. Like, you've got the receivers, you've got the weapons. That's not your issue, but it's like consistently running the football, committing to the run, making plays downfield in the passing game. So these offenses right now are kind of limping into this matchup, but they are both coming off of a bye week.
Yeah, coming off a bye week, which is some teams are probably better at bye weeks than others, too. Like, there's improvements that can always be made on every team, whether you're undefeated, whether you're hitting on cylinders, or whether you are struggling in different aspects of the game. There's improvements to be made. And a lot of times, it's not like a huge, like, tear everything down to the studs, we got to reinvent the wheel type situation. It's little things here and there that you got to just realize that, you know, we're this far off on some things, but we do have to philosophically make a couple of changes. So I think LSU is kind of like somewhere in the middle there. Like, they do need to add some actual X's and O type plays to their offense, to their repertoire, how they are calling the game. But I think there's a lot of little things that they can do to improve, and we've talked about that a lot. We've talked a lot about that in the run. Like, let's call a run play and let's run a run play. Let's not give them the option to throw it. Let's not give them the option to do anything else. Let's run a run play. Let's simplify the calls on offense that our offensive linemen are making, the communication between center to guard to tackle to tight end. Let's minimize that communication. Let's limit it. Let's give them some calls, of course, because we still want to get in a good play. Yeah. We want an advantageous play, but it doesn't always have to be the perfect play. Let's just run a play. And then we'll see how the offense kind of changes. Garrett Nussmeier able to have a week of rest. Like, I know he got some much-needed rest. We don't know the severity of whatever was going on with him, but we know something was there.
Yeah.
Can he turn it around? Can he get to the Garrett Nussmeier that we know and love, that we've seen? And that's the frustrating part that everybody's had. It's like, it's not having the success, not doing the things because we know he can do it. Like, if we had never seen him do it, it's just like, all right, well, we got to work around it. We got to figure it out. Like, this is what we are.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, when you've seen it time and time again, it makes it a lot more frustrating. So, I still have high hopes that Garrett Nussmeier will start improving and getting better and better. Hopefully this 7 days of rest will kind of be the catapult that helps him go. What do you think?
In your heart of hearts,
okay,
do you think we'll see some differences in the run game?
Why'd you got to ask me that, bud? My heart of hearts.
Because this is the hard-hitting journalism that OTB is known for.
I know. You got to ask the tough questions that people are afraid to, huh? In my heart of hearts.
Do you think that you'll see something different? This isn't a success rate question. I'm not talking about that.
You're talking about from a...
It's just like, will you see something that is different? So when I say different, you don't run all the RPOs that we've talked about. Maybe you come back and you have Jack Pyburn at fullback, like you had the one play that is your longest run of the year.
Yeah, and to me, like to answer that question, it's like to see something different is not to see it one time, or not to see it in the first 15.
Yeah,
or like once in the one. Like if they brought out a fullback one time in a game, to me that's not something different. It's just like thrown in but at that point it's a trick play, right? It's not.
Man, that kind of hurt when you said it like that.
Well, anything you do something once a game to throw somebody off, it's a trick play, whether it's a triple reverse pass or it's throwing a fullback in there that you've never done before.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my heart of hearts, since you're putting a gun to my head here, I'm going to say
there's no gun.
I'm going to say
no gun here at Rouse's.
And I've said the metaphorical football gun.
Okay.
I'm going to say no from a philosophical standpoint. Well, do I think that we'll have more success? Our success will improve? Yes, I do. But I think it could be more of them looking at what we've done as it's – I don't know if they're going to look at it and say what we're doing is not working, or they're going to look at it and say we just got to fix a few things. We're really close. And if they just, like, clean up calls and make the linemen more – aggressive, make the lineman
ability to be aggressive,
the ability to be aggressive and stop thinking so much,
right,
and trying to be perfect, I think that will improve. Now, will it make us a juggernaut? No, but you don't need to be. I don't think if Nussmeier can get to the level he's been, you don't need to be.
No. You listen. You don't have to be Missouri, who is running for 292 yards per game in the SEC. It's not what we're talking about. You don't have, that's not you, and that's fine. Like, you don't have to be that, all right? But you can't be 15th in the SEC. Can you be 9th? Can you be 9th in rushing in the SEC?
I think we'll take 9th.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're 9th, we're talking about a different football team altogether. Because it's complementary, okay? Because you still are going to be able to hit some stuff in the passing game. You hope, like you said, Nussmeier's feeling better. You don't have to be number 1. But can you be 9th? Because with the way your defense is playing, right, that's your complementary offense, where maybe you're 5th in passing and 9th in rushing.
Yep.
And overall, you're 6th or 7th in total offense, but you got a second-ranked, third-ranked defense. That is pairing together to make a pretty damn good football team.
Yep. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, this is a –
thank you. Never heard you say that before.
I know. This is a team that – has an elite defense, and I think this is a very good, and we can talk about that matchup when we come back, but that defense versus their offense. But this is a team that you don't have to be the greatest offense in the country, although the pieces are there to – there's nothing stopping this offense from getting back to where it was a year ago in the passing game.
I'm with you.
Except themselves, right?
Yeah.
So – like to see it, but man, if they can just make steady improvements on the offense, that defense keeps playing like they have been playing, this team still has everything they want out in front of them.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Brack teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. After further review on Game Day, presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs. Be an Alpha. AlphaCustoms.net. After further review is heard weekday afternoons at 3 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
LeBaird countdown to kickoff, about 3 hours and 25 minutes here at LeBaird. Before we bring Matt in, let me give you a quick update on the two big games that are going on right now. Oklahoma leads Texas 3-0. A game winding down to late in the first quarter. John Mateer is playing for Oklahoma. Doesn't appear to be favoring the injury very much to his hand that required the surgery. He has, however, thrown a first quarter interception. And Indiana has just taken the ball the length of the field, scored a touchdown to go up 10-7 on Oregon. All right, let's bring in Scone. Matt, good afternoon.
Hey, fellas.
Matt, the last time we talked on this program, you were very confident that LSU would go to Oxford and beat Ole Miss, knowing what happened now. And I'm sure you watched a good bit, if not all, of Ole Miss and Washington State earlier today, which Ole Miss came away with a 3-point win there. Is your confidence shaken in LSU at all?
Well, now you get watching Ole Miss today why I was confident LSU was going to win that game. Ole Miss isn't very good. I mean, it's still stunning to think what happened in Oxford 2 weeks ago. LSU's plan wasn't very good, and what they were trying to do, they didn't execute very well. So, I mean, look, I think we can obviously look around college football. You just mentioned the score like we're seeing right now with Indiana and Oregon. You can see what happened to Penn State last week, losing to UCLA, who, by the way, won again today, like blew out Michigan State.
Yeah.
I know, wild. It's amazing what a coach who knows what conference he's in might be able to do for you. But hey, he's up there in LA. The shaken in LSU. the ability to score, absolutely. My feeling going into the Ole Miss game was, look, I could understand a lot of the explanations through the first month why LSU struggled offensively. I could buy if it was Nuss limited, if it was really good defensive fronts from Clemson and Florida against an inexperienced offensive line, so you're playing conservative to get through the game. I could buy that. What I can't buy is any excuse for why you weren't able to move the football against a bad Ole Miss defense. So, yeah, I think this offense has an awful lot to prove. I mean, you have pieces that are good. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier was a 4,000-yard passer, and you got tons of good receivers and running backs that have been proven SEC players, but your offensive line is obviously not very good, and you've not been able to put it together yet offensively. So until you do, it's hard to predict that they will.
I asked Gordy this question earlier today. I asked Richard Dixon this question yesterday on the Daily Show, which is the offensive line combinations that we may see in this game tonight. You got three of them that are locked in, but at left guard and right tackle, they'll be without Paul Mubenga tonight. Cohen Eccles has taken most of the snaps on the first team, but you've got two other players that have taken reps there. And then at right tackle, Weston Davis comes back after missing the Ole Miss game. You've got two other options there. Combinations that you think we'll see and combinations that you prefer at those two positions?
Well, I think we probably agree that I think Harris Kern's one of your best five, and he's got to play. Now, I think Weston Davis is going to start at right tackle, and I did ask Brian Kelly earlier this week about the left guard spot, and it sure sounds like they're going to start Eccles because he's played the most there. I mean, he's basically been in a rotation there with Mubenga. But I think you're probably going to see a left guard rotation, especially if Eccles struggles at all, that will look like what we saw with Mubenga and Eccles, but with Eccles and Kern. And remember, Kern's only played right tackle up until this point, but I think they're looking for a spot to say, okay, we think he's one of our best five. How do we get him on the field? It might be similar to, Brian Kelly even said it last week, like with Emory Jones, his freshman season. He didn't always know where to be and what to do, but he was big, fast, strong, physical, and aggressive, and they felt like we just had to get the young guy on the field. And I think they're probably getting close to that with Kern, especially if this unit keeps struggling.
Do you think that there is a renewed determination to run the football, or are they going to just say, listen, that's just a complimentary piece. We'll do it when we have to or when the opportunity arises, but it's never going to be our first pitch?
I mean, the fact that they didn't even try to run the football against Ole Miss was stunning. Ole Miss was the worst rush defense in the conference, and there wasn't even an attempt. I mean, guys, there was two instances in the entire game against Ole Miss where they ran the ball on consecutive plays. Like, that's absurd to even say that out loud. I mean, you had two carries by running backs in the entire first half. They weren't even trying. So I don't – Handy, I mean, your question is right, but I don't have the answer to that. But what I do know is if they don't, if they don't at least try to become more balanced offensively, it's going to be more of the same because regardless of Nussmeier and health or whatever, if you don't even attempt to run the ball and teams are dropping 7 or 8 consistently, which is what Brian Kelly said that Ole Miss were in drop 8, 86% of the snaps. Like, I don't care if it's Joe Montana playing against the Little Giants. Like, you're not going to complete passes when they're in drop 8. So I hope, and I think that's on Joe Sloan. And I like what Brian Kelly said this week. It was, effectively, I'm simplifying and paraphrasing, but he said, call the play, run the play. Don't need as many checks. You don't need as many, come up to the line and see what they're in. Just play with some tempo, play free and loose and fast and let your athletes take over. Now, LSU's got plenty of good athletes. You just got to let them go do what they do really well. But I do hope they run the ball.
I liked what Kelly said. I did not like the fact that he said it after the game. If he didn't like the plan, that's on him. It's not. Look, Sloan has got to call the plays, but Kelly's the boss, okay? And I've seen him grab a play chart before. And if he didn't like the plan, the time to tell us that wasn't the Monday after the game. It was during the game when this was not wow, we've never seen a defense like this before. They brought this out of nowhere. they knew what they were going up against. So if he didn't like the plan, that's on him. And he's got autonomy over everything. He's the head coach. So if he wants, I would not be in any way opposed to him grabbing the play chart and calling plays himself. But when the head coach tells me after the game that he didn't like the plan, I'm like, hey, boss, you made the plan, okay? That's what you're getting paid for. So if you didn't like the plan, change it. Nobody's holding your holding your feet to the fire here to run it a certain way. Let me flip sides here and let's talk about what LSU is going to do tonight. Lenore Sellers had a big first half last year. He's an immense talent. Maybe doesn't have the pieces around him that they did a year ago, but not going to surprise me if he's right up at the top of the NFL draft next week. What lies in store for him?
That would surprise me if he's at the top of the NFL draft, because that would be nothing more than a projection based on athleticism and nothing he's shown on the field.
Well, I'll bet you Sagari goes in the top 5.
Top 5?
Yep.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
In this spring?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
I mean, I think the NFL, you have cautionary tales like Anthony Richardson, and you're right. Despite those cautionary tales, those guys still get picked. But for half of last year, Lenore Sellers couldn't hit water, fell out of a boat. You're seeing that again this year, and teams are committed to stopping him from running the football, and he's not able to beat teams with his arm because he's just not a good passer. He's a great athlete. He's 6'3", 240, and by the way, he may become outstanding, but he's not right now. I would say similar to Anthony Richardson, who is an outstanding athlete, who is not a great quarterback. So, I mean, you look at this South Carolina team. They're down 3 starting offensive linemen tonight. They have not replaced Rocket Sanders from a year ago. We saw him at Arkansas, then went to South Carolina. He was awesome. He had a big 65-yarder against LSU in the game a year ago. Nick Harbor, number 8, is a really impressive guy, but that's playing against LSU's strength in the secondary, which is fun to say that LSU strength in the secondary again. I just don't know where South Carolina, who has 6 non-offensive touchdowns this year and is 100th in the country in scoring. Like, without those 6 non-offensive touchdowns, I don't even know what they'd be. So I think night game, Tiger Stadium against that defense is a really bad recipe for South Carolina offensively. It's hard for me to imagine how they move the football in this game.
We're going to disagree a little bit on Sellers. I think he's a much better passer at this point in his career than Anthony Richardson was. I don't disagree that he's a work in progress and needs to, if nothing else, play a lot more football. I think one of the things that hamstrung Richardson is I think he started 13 games at Florida, and it just wasn't enough. Sellers is going to go with more experience in that. Now he's got work to do. No argument there. But I think he's well ahead of where Richardson was at this point in their careers. Now, is that going to be enough against LSU tonight and the offensive line problems? Hey, look, you're going up against a team that runs the football worse than you, so I think they've got a shot there. But I'm a little bit bullish on Sellers' future. I think he's going to be really good. But we'll see. Pick out your favorite cigar. We'll let that one. We'll let that one ride till next spring. Okay. The non-touchdowns for the non-offensive touchdowns for South Carolina. We're talking about a coach who comes from a lineage of great special teams play. Frank Beamer may have been the best in his field at coaching special teams, and of course his son Shane. Is there anything that they might pull tonight? Anything, you're saying, hey, listen, this is a problem. This comes down to a one-play game, and they bust something different. Does that concern you at all?
Well, yeah, because they've done it in a lot of different ways. Like, I mean, you could look at, this is weird to say, but like the South Carolina State game, right? They're playing a MEAC school. And South Carolina State was leading 3-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Then South Carolina gets a punt return for a touchdown, then a blocked field goal for a touchdown. So they've done it in different ways and how they've been able to manufacture offense. And then the last time out they played Kentucky, guys, like I know nobody was watching that game because why would you? But they up 2 touchdowns. They faked a punt on 4th and 12. Now they got like 11.5 yards. They were just short. But the point is, like, it doesn't matter the circumstance or situation of the game. They've repped everything to your point, Handy. Like, they focus on that stuff and they practice it more than anyone. So I do think there are going to be points in this. There's undeniably going to be a point in this game where they're trying to steal a possession, steal a first down, steal a score with how they affect the game on special teams or on defense. But I'll tell you, the flip side of it is I'd be much more concerned a year ago or at any other year during the Kelly era. They've been outstanding in special teams this year. Not only the specialists, but because they have so much more depth on the team, you have veteran players. I mean, you have Devon Keys and Chris Hilton and guys like that playing special teams for you. So you're not relying on young guys just getting reps. You're relying on veteran players who are really talented guys on special teams. So I think all that's elevated LSU in that third phase this year.
You know, you saying that reminds me, I did one of the first pre-games I ever did was when LSU played Virginia Tech in 2002. It was my second year with Eagle. And I had the play-by-play guy on from Virginia Tech, and I said, what's the secret sauce? Why are Frank Beamer's teams always so good on special teams? And his answer, I remember it very vividly. He says, he plays his very best players on special teams. And it was true. We saw it that day. And, foreshadowing a big punt return for a touchdown that got called back by Dominic Davis was a real swing point in that game. And I really haven't done enough digging on South Carolina special teams units to know how many starters they have over there. But if he's anything like his father, they play their very best players on special teams.
And I remember I was in Blacksburg that day. Hanny and Michael Vick landed in a helicopter in the field next to the stadium. They came and retired his jersey, and went right back out the side of the stadium, got in a helicopter, and left.
Power move.
Sunday game.
Right. Sunday game, yeah, that's true.
It was a Sunday game.
Yeah, remembered very well. All right, Scone, after the game, you're firing up?
Yeah, I'll do a post game on my YouTube channel just to chat with folks how it goes. We'll lead into Eagle 98.1 game today, post game with you, Richard.
All right, enjoy the game, and we will talk to you early next Saturday morning.
Top 5 for sellers. By the way, I'll be in Nashville next week when I talk to you guys.
Oh, very
that's
good.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Good deal. All right, thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you.
Isla Bears countdown to kickoff, about 3 hours and 10 minutes. We'll take a break, come back and get you up to date on everything that is going on in the world of college football. Scoreboard is next here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday morning.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. The dependable storage college football scoreboard. Dependable Storage. Let us store your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
We started the Cotton Bowl where number 6 Oklahoma leads Texas 3-0. Game about 4 minutes into the second quarter. John Mateer did start at quarterback for the Sooners. He's 8 of his first 15 for 84 yards. He does have an interception. Oklahoma with a drive into Texas territory. They're now down inside the 30-yard line. Just went for it on a 4th down and made it. Oregon has just tied the score. Number 3 Ducks, number 7 Indiana Hoosiers are tied at 10. 9:18 to go in the first half. Dante Moore has thrown a touchdown pass for Oregon. Number 13 Georgia Tech leads Virginia Tech 18-0 as they tick down about 3.5 minutes to go to the half there. Haynes King has thrown an early touchdown pass for the Ramblin' Wreck. North Carolina State and number 16 Notre Dame are tied at 7. 6 minutes to go in the second quarter there. C.J. Bailey with a touchdown pass for NC State. Jordan Love with a touchdown. Jeremiah Love. Jordan Love plays quarterback for the Packers.
He's playing tomorrow.
Jeremiah Love with a touchdown run for the Irish. Colorado leads number 22 Iowa State 7-0. About 5 minutes into the second quarter there. Iowa State with a drive in Colorado territory. Arkansas an early touchdown at number 12 Tennessee. Did not see how they got that touchdown, Musso. About halfway through the first quarter there, the Hogs with a 7-0 lead.
That was a, first of all, 9-play, 75-yard drive. It was a 11-yard touchdown run by Taylon Green.
Okay. And that, okay. Hang on just a second. My scoreboard just
you need a refresh.
Bopped out on me. All right, Northwestern leading Penn State 10-7. I was looking for the
Oh my goodness!
I was looking for the Penn State score, and then I realized, oh no, this is just ranked teams. Okay, I got to look somewhere else. Northwestern leads them with 5 minutes to go to the half. Penn State does have the ball inside the Northwestern 15-yard line. Maryland leads Nebraska 14-10. 8 minutes to go to the half there at Maryland. Wake Forest leads Oregon State 15-0 in the second quarter. TCU and Kansas State are scoreless in the second. Air Force leads UNLV 14-10. These are all second quarter scores now. Appalachian State leads Georgia State 7-0. Marshall leads Old Dominion 17-7. Western Michigan leads Ball State 21-0. Navy and Temple are tied at 7. A minute to go in the first quarter of that one. Earlier finals today. Number 1 Ohio State beat number 17 Illinois 34-16. 20-3 at the half. Ohio State, Illinois cut into that lead, but Ohio State pulled away in the third and fourth quarters. Number 4 Ole Miss struggled but beat Washington State today 24-21. Trinidad Chambliss threw for 253 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and Kejuan Lacey ran for $142 for Ole Miss. Number 8 Alabama beat number 14 Missouri 27-24. Tyler Simpson threw for 200 yards, but 3 big touchdown passes for the Alabama quarterback. Pittsburgh upset number 25 Florida State 34-31. The true freshman Mason Heinschel, who made his first start for Pitt last week in a 48-7 win against Boston College, accounted for 385 yards of total offense today. A couple of touchdown passes as Pitt beats Florida State. Seminoles beat Alabama to open the season. They are 2-3 since. UCLA beat Michigan State today 38-13. Nico threw 3 touchdown passes for UCLA, who looks like a completely different team since the coaching change. SMU beat Stanford 34-10. Cincinnati goes to 5-1. They beat UCF 20-11. Houston also goes to 5-1 in the Big 12. They beat Oklahoma State 39-17. James Madison beat UL Lafayette 24-14. Army over Charlotte 24-7. Miami of Ohio beat Akron 20-7. Bowling Green evens their record at 3-3 with a 28-23 win over Toledo. The Fighting Eddie Georges are also 1-1 in the MAC. And Eastern Michigan beat Northern Illinois 16-10. And that is your college football scoreboard. And Indiana and Oregon tick down here in the early portions of the second quarter. Good ball game.
Very good ball game, man. Indiana's offense has come to play in this one. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, Hannah, you and I were talking about it during a break. Man, he's got some moxie to him. There's a lot of intangibles with him as well as to go along with just the ability at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I like the intangibles, but I like the build and the athleticism as much as anybody. He's about 6'5". He's somewhere in the area of 230 pounds, but he can move. I mean, he's not a speed merchant or anything, but he can move. And I think he throws the ball into some really tight windows, and he can throw the ball well. He's a little slider. He kind of slides a little bit, buys himself some time. He's a really, really interesting prospect to watch. So is Dante Moore for Oregon, who's one of the favorites to win the Heisman. But Moore's not expected to come out in next year's draft. Mendoza probably will. So
for sure, 100%.
We talk about those things since we're talking about pro prospects at quarterback today.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about plenty of them, right? I mean, it's, Mateer as well, Hanny. I've been impressed. The guy had surgery on his throwing hand 17 days ago, and he's thrown that thing with some zip.
Yeah, there's been nothing wrong with the velocity on the ball. The interception was not a physical interception. He made a bad decision. He was falling backwards when he made the throw, but he threw well off target there. But the velocity is there. Doesn't seem to be favoring it all that much. We're here at the Bears countdown to kickoff is exactly 3 hours right now. Let ESPN Bet at LaBerge be your game day headquarters. But if you're heading out to tailgate before any game, stop by here at Rouse's. They want to cover your pregame spread. Get all of your beer, your wine, your spirits, all of your meats and vegetables, the Chop House, the bakery, the Mongolian Grill. Lots of ice here at Rouse's. They never run out. All of your tailgating utensils as well are available here at Burbank and Lee, a very short drive to Tigers Stadium. When we come back, we'll hear from Jay Phillips, who covers the South Carolina Gamecocks. We'll do that when we return here at Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana.
98.1. By Super Chevy and Yingling. Opposing media.
We roll along here. Eagle 98.1 Game Day live from the Rouses on the corner of Burbank and Lee. Counting you down, LSU, South Carolina, Saturday night in Death Valley. Take a closer look at those South Carolina Gamecocks. For that, we go to the Hooters hotline. Welcome in Drew Fabianich. She's the executive director of the Panini Senior Bowl. Drew, we appreciate the time as always, my man. How are you?
Good, Matt. It's always love being on with you.
Absolutely. The pleasure is ours, and we appreciate the time every week, man. So South Carolina.
Jay Phillips is good enough to join us. Jay does a radio show up there in South Carolina, and we get to see him every year over at SEC Football Media Days. 107.5 The Game. Hey, thanks for the time. Are South Carolina fans still bitching about last year, or have they actually grown up and realized you can't blow a 17-point lead on your home field, and you can't horse collar a quarterback and you can't blindside block a quarterback on an interception?
I took a lot of heat, including from a regular guest of mine who's a former Gamecock, by saying don't give officials reasons to pull a flag out of their pocket. And everybody wanted me to say, the refs screwed us. I think they've gotten over it because it was a long time ago and they went on a big winning streak later. But if you ask, I don't know, Matt, if you ask half the fans around here why South Carolina lost the LSU game in Columbia last season, they'll tell you the rest.
Yeah, they're stupid. They're ninnies.
Well, I do have to make money from some of them, so I'm trying not to use that adjective, but I get your point.
No, I do, but I just because I don't really care. But anyway, hey, why is that offense not good this year?
A lot of musical chairs up front, which kind of goes back to 2 years ago when Spencer Rattler was a senior at Carolina, and just there he was under duress. I think they had 40-something sacks that season, and there were a lot of injuries. This year there's a lot of injuries. I think they have more experienced depth behind them, so they haven't maybe looked as bad as they did in 2023, but I do think that's part of it. And let's just tell the audience, your audience, you were on with me earlier, and you made a point that we've been making all season. Raheem Sanders is no longer on this football team. And you realize last year just how good he was behind Lenoris Sellers and just how valuable he was with the ball, without the ball, in the run game, obviously, but the receiving game as well. And they don't have that answer yet. They like Oscar Attaway. They like Rasul Faison. Those guys haven't produced. And, you know, I can keep going on this. You're probably going to hear a name more this weekend. I'm not telling you he'll start, but there's a kid named Matt Fuller. He got a lot more run, no pun intended, against Kentucky. And he was talked about a lot this week in some of the press conferences with Coach Beamer and Coach Mike Shula. I expect to hear his name more. Mike even made mention of trying to get him to do things without the ball. So clearly that's a big part of it. And then, Matt, you know, I don't mean to go too long here, but it's a long answer to an easy question. I've said on my show, I feel like Lenoris Sellers in a lot of ways has not been himself. At least he wasn't until the Kentucky game. Against Virginia Tech, you could tell that some of the stuff they did in the offseason in terms of the pocket presence, he was really trying to work on. Took a couple of bad sacks in that game. South Carolina won. South Carolina State, you can't tell much about. Vanderbilt, he gets hurt and doesn't play but maybe a quarter-ish. You know, against Missouri, not really himself, but he did throw for over 300 yards. And again, against Kentucky, he was back to being him. I've said about Lenoris, in a few instances, he's made some bad plays for some good reasons. He's really good on the deep ball, but he's taken some bad sacks because of it, and he's going to have to correct those things. But between the line, playing musical chairs, and no solid tailback, it's just been hard for Carolina to get something going because every defense knows who the best player is. It's not even hard.
Their ability to score non-offensive touchdowns, though, is pretty remarkable, Jay. I mean, they've got 6 non-offensive touchdowns this year. And when you do it that often, it's not coincidence. Like, you're good at it. So why are they so good at that?
Well, Shane emphasizes that, and I told you I've dubbed because they have so many, and I expect them to score more. Maybe not Saturday night, but I expect them to get more. I've called them supplemental touchdowns because that's what they are, man. I mean, I think Shane, as a coach, as someone who's coached so many positions, and certainly, I think we all talk about Beamer ball and special teams, but it's real, and it's part of how he was raised at Virginia Tech as a player, as the coach's son, as an assistant up there, and he's coached special teams, but he's coached DBs and linebackers, and I think he understands the value, especially at a school like South Carolina, of having to find those. And again, I'll use the term supplemental touchdowns. Look, South Carolina's had some really good years. There will not be a time without winning a whole bunch of championships that South Carolina is ever going to be thought of as a Georgia and LSU when it comes to the level of talent. You're just not going to have it. So you've got to find those little places where you can make a difference. And Shane has really begun to instill that in the Gamecocks, to be prepared for those moments, to find the little wrinkles that they like. Listen, I'll tell you this. They had a fake punt, Matt, against Kentucky. It was 4th and 11 from about the Kentucky, or from the Carolina, on their own side, about the Carolina 40-something. They got 10.5 yards on it. But Shane will tell you, and you could tell after the game, they saw a touchdown on that play. They had it, but the pass was just underthrown, and they didn't even get a first down out of it. But that was a play designed to score a touchdown, not to get a first down. So they really work hard in their film study to find those little places, and I think, and then they get the kids prepared for it.
And by the way, that was when they were up like 2 scores in that game when they ran that fake. So
he says they'll do it whenever, man. They spend so much time on the look, whatever that look might be from the opposing special teams, scheme. And if they see it, more often than not, he's going to go for it.
Flip it over. Defense was so good last year. That's objectively true. They had NFL guys, and Kennard was the Defensive Player of the Year, and Tonka Hemingway and Emin Mori and all the names that we all know. It looks like they're still pretty good this year, but how much of a drop-off, and maybe where's the most significant drop-off from last year to this?
I think up front they just maybe don't get quite the push, and they don't have quite the run-stopping ability that they did last season. I know we're all Southerners around here, so hockey is not huge, and I'm not a hockey fan, but they had almost they had a hockey line, man. You know how hockey just you churn them out every 5 minutes, and you got 3 or 4 new dudes that come out there all fresh. And South Carolina up front could do that last season, and they're not quite as deep up front. And I think that's been an issue. The linebacking core, I'll be honest with you, has been much better than I thought it was going to be this season. If I had, and I did this with my audience, I did it with fellow guests. What's the one area that maybe was the biggest concern in July and August? And for me, it was always linebacker. I think they've overperformed relative to expectation. And right now, South Carolina is missing who I think has, at least going into the year, was their best cover corner, Judge Collier. Now, he was hurt early against Virginia Tech and finally got back into game action against Kentucky, but I think he only played 15, 20 snaps, not too many. He was listed last night as questionable. I think you'll see him Saturday. To what degree, I don't know. Maybe not quite as good at the back, but Cisse has been good. DQ Smith is a veteran guy. Jalen Kilgore's going to the next level, obviously. He's got a brother, Gerald, who's pretty good. But I would say, you know how it is, Matt. If you can affect things up front, it has a nice little ripple effect going backward on defense, and they're just not quite up there yet because everybody knows what Stewart's about. Brian Thomas has been good off the other edge. I like those guys, and I think they'll need to be busy Saturday.
Yeah. Jay, Carolina was just outside the top 10 in the preseason rankings. We know Sellers was picked as the preseason All-SEC quarterback. So I'd imagine for this team to be sitting here already with two conference losses is disappointing. What kind of is sort of the temperature of the fan base right now, and what seems to be on the line this week coming to Baton Rouge? Because you ain't got to be brilliant to look at what's ahead, man. It's LSU, number 6 Oklahoma, number 8 Bama, number 4 Ole Miss, number 5 Texas A&M. Oh, you got Clemson as well. Like the gauntlet is here.
It is. And that's why I think that there's disappointment in the sense that the feeling here before any game was played was you, at worst, need to be 4-1 as you go into this stretch that starts Saturday over there with you guys. And they're not. Now, again, you can look at reasons / excuses. Again, Lenoris goes down in the second quarter against Vanderbilt, and that changed a lot. Did it change everything? No, because Vandy was really good that night. Did Carolina win because of it? If he's back there, I don't know. Here's the thing, too, man. They had the lead going into the fourth quarter at Missouri. With 5 minutes to go, they were still only down 6, and they got the ball back, but they went 3 and out. So you've had your moments and opportunities. But, last year you were on the cusp of the playoff. And I'm not saying that needed to be an expectation again this year. That's hard for South Carolina to win 9 games in back-to-back seasons. But now you're almost worrying, like, do you get to the Gasparilla Bowl or something, And so I think losing to Vandy in Columbia was tough, regardless of how much better Vandy is. And so now you got to go steal 1 or 2 of the ones that you just mentioned. And that feels difficult. So I think there's an understanding that, again, as Lenoris goes, this team goes. And Lenoris missed most of the Vandy game, was not himself against Missouri, even though he threw for 300 yards, but he didn't run. And now here we are.
Jay, what's the blueprint for Carolina to win Saturday in Baton Rouge?
Lenoris is going to need to have a nice game all around. Again, I think I told you when you were on my show earlier, he's played well in his last 5 true road games. Not lights out, outstanding in all of them. I'd say the best one was at Clemson last season, where I think he ran for, I think about as many as he threw for. It was like 170 each. He needs to do something close to that, and that ain't going to happen because they ain't going to run for that much. My blueprint is this. Early, try to stretch the field for South Carolina. Try to hit some deep balls to Nick Harbor. Try to pull that LSU defense, which is outstanding, backward just a little bit. Create some space. Maybe on some third downs, go for some big ones. And if you don't hit it or it gets picked, well, hey, it's like a big long punt on third down. And then see through the course of the game if you can keep LSU's defense just a little bit more on its toes. Because if you can, and Lenoris can begin to run the football, then he's got space to run through. And he can be very elusive. But I think early, in terms of blueprint for your question, I think you've got to find ways to stretch the field and hit a few of those big plays so it gives LSU something to think about. Because like the Tigers, the Gamecocks are not good in the run game on offense. And I just don't see that changing this weekend.
Yeah, 2 teams that are really struggling to find it offensively. Be interesting to see how it all plays out. He's Jay Phillips, 107.5 The Game, covers the Gamecocks, has for a long time. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Right back at you. See you soon, bud.
All right, man. Be well.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
98.1.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323. LA 21-126-81. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 WDGL and HC1 Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers. Presented by Lake Urgent Care. Lake Urgent Care. With 14 locations, caring for communities near you and always available at lakeurgentcare.com. Talkin' Tigers. Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
Yeah, I've just been big in self-scout. You know, been watching all the film from our past games and most recently the Ole Miss game. And we actually sat down with the running backs and tight ends and just talked about ways that we can improve and hone in on details, but also, you know, getting healthy was big too.
Defensive end, Jamari Butler.
I mean, personally, I feel like it kind of sucked, you know, going into a bye we got that L, because you really get to sit on it like that whole week. You know, usually you get to come redeem yourself that next week. So I feel like us just sitting back, you know, reflecting on each other, because it wasn't a pretty game all around. Not pointing fingers, just reflecting on yourself, looking in the mirror. I mean, I feel like we're back.
Wide receiver Kyle Parker.
I would say to go out there and just make plays. As receivers, that's what's expected. As we always say in the receiver room, we make the offense go. So we just need to go out there and make big plays. When the ball's thrown, we got to make every catch, and no matter where the ball is, you just got to make a play on it.
Safety A.J. Halsey.
Have your brother back, play complementary football, and that's really the message. You know, just go out there and play as a team. You know, just don't leave one side of the ball hanging. And if we go out there and play together, we could be amazing.
Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
You know, running the ball opens up the rest of the offense. So with the inability to run the ball, teams are gonna, you know, drop 8, and then it makes it hard for us and the, you know, passing game to get going. So, you know, as an O-lineman, you know, I take responsibility for that. You know, I feel like that's on us, and, you know, we need to be better.
Defensive end, Jamari Butler.
It all plays hand in hand. You know, I feel like on the back end, if they hold up, we can get home. But it's just like rushing as a group. You know, not leaving no big lanes, because if you step up, it's going to be athletic, so it's going to be big. But just, you know, rushing as a group and playing complementary off each other.
Wide receiver Kyle Parker.
Garrett's had a solid week so far. He's ready to get out there and go play, and just like everybody else, just focusing on the main thing, which is South Carolina, and going out there and winning.
Safety A.J. Halsey.
I feel like he got the personality and the scheme for a defensive coordinator. You know, sometimes you might get a guy with a great scheme but not a great personality or not a great way to deliver it. But that's a guy that you would like to play for. That's a guy that's going to bring energy, and you know when he calling, you just trust it. And if you play it right and you communicate, you're going to make a play.
Offensive line, Braylon Moore.
Yeah, he's had a great week. I think the bye week was crucial for him and a lot of the guys to be able to, you know, get a little healthier. But, you know, he looks great. We just had a practice, and he was slinging it out there.
Talkin' Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the V. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill.
And we bring in Rich Dixon, who'll be with me on the post game tonight after LSU and South Carolina. Rich, good afternoon.
What's going on, guys?
All right, give me a couple things that you're looking for tonight for LSU to win this ball game.
I'm looking for an attitude adjustment, a different mindset. Look, I don't care if we get a couple personal fouls, whatever it is, but I just want to see those guys go out there and try to beat somebody up on the offensive line.
You know, I heard our friend Hunt Palmer give such an impassioned plea for them to throw the ball to the tight end during his show this week that I almost thought you had put him up to it, Rich. But the stats bear it out. Trey Green has not caught a pass. Now, he did miss a couple of games, but he hadn't caught a pass since the opener. And Bauer Sharp only had one catch for 9 yards in the game against Ole Miss. So I'm sure you wouldn't mind seeing the tight ends get a little bit more involved in the passing game.
No, I mean, look, go back and watch the film that we broke down the previous week. There was a few times where you had Bauer Sharp coming across the middle on first downs, and we were taking deep shots where, you know, you can go ahead and progress, move the ball forward, and move the chains. I haven't seen the plays where they've really tried to utilize Trey Green in the back of the end zone in the red zone lately. So it's something that I think that they need to get back to. All
right. When you talk about this attitude adjustment, you're talking about the offensive line, and this is about run the football. We watched Washington State. They tailed off a little bit late today against Ole Miss, but they ran the football well over 100 yards, and they were averaging 4.5 yards a carry. So we talked about this on the Daily Show yesterday, but I'll ask you to kind of repeat it. The personnel that you prefer, where LSU's got a couple of spots up front.
I want Kern on the field regardless. If it's guard or tackle, I think Eccles has a different mindset. But Kern's the only guy, when I've gone and watched the film, when he gets on there, that he's trying to finish blocks. He's finishing guys, driving them into the ground. Look, he makes some mistakes when he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's got the attitude that I look for in offensive linemen.
All right, those keys to the V. Rich will be with us following the end of LSU and South Carolina. Enjoy the game, boss.
Yes, sir.
All right. 10-10, Oregon misses a short field goal.
36 yards. Completely hooked it.
So Indiana got the ball. They've got 13 seconds to go. They're at their own 45-yard line, and this game is tied at 10. This has been an excellent game. Mm-hmm. Very, very evenly matched with these two teams, and Indiana trying to steal some points here right before the half. We'll go over to Tiger Stadium and visit with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, when we come back. That's pass interference.
Brutal pass interference. Gosh.
We'll do that when we come back here live at Rouse's, our L'Auberge Casino countdown to kickoff, about 2 hours and 35 minutes. Let ESPN Bet at L'Auberge be your game day headquarters. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Fish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Inside the stadium. Presented by Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Louisiana Federal Land Bank. Financing all things country.
Return here at Rouse's. Let Rouse's cover your game day spread for all of your pregame, all your tailgating items. You come into Rouse's, you go to the left side of the store. You're going to be over here in the deli section, all of your deli stuff, all of your stuff from the bakery, all of your Louisiana seafood is here on this side of the grocery store. All of the beer, the wine, the spirits also on this side. Then you go to the right side of the store, get all your utensils, all of your garbage bags, your paper plates, all the things that you need. And, of course, you'll always be able to get plenty of ice here at Rouse's to stock even the most heavy on the pregame spread. So let Rouse's do it. We're a very short drive over towards Tiger Stadium. A lot of pre-prepared food. Don't show up at your tailgate empty-handed. Be with us here at Rouse's. Just a very short drive over towards Tiger Stadium. We have a couple of scores to update you on here. Going to halftime. This game is at halftime now. Penn State leads Northwestern 14-13, and Oklahoma leads Texas 6-3. We may have to come to the realization that these two teams who were ranked 1-2 in the preseason just were absolutely horribly overrated. Texas goes to Ohio State and loses. Okay, you can understand that. And they go to Florida. Well, Florida played, very good. Has played very good defense for most of the season. So maybe you understand that. And look, Oklahoma's ranked in the top 6. They're undefeated, but the offense for Texas is just stuck in neutral. They had 104 yards of total offense in the first half. Arch Manning was 10 of 14 for 69 yards. They just were not able to get much of anything going. The defense has played very well, but the offensive line problems are real for Texas, and it has stunted Manning's development because of it. Over at Penn State, This was a team that was supposed to be able to run the football really well this year. Both of their top backs returned, and in the first half against Northwestern, they ran the ball pretty well. 20 carries for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that was it. Penn State only threw the ball 30 for 35 yards. Drew Aller, 6 of 9 for 35 yards and an interception. The defense has been okay, but it hasn't been at the elite level that they thought it would be. So these are your top 2 teams in the country, and or were preseason. So when I say I'm still very optimistic about LSU, I look at a lot of these teams around the country that, listen, on the right day. Ole Miss, a 3-point win over Washington State today. Alabama and Missouri, both good teams. Either one of them, what you would call great. I don't know that we can say that yet. UCLA, who was left for dead, won for the second straight week. Florida State, who was a toast to the town after week number 1, loses today to Pittsburgh. So they beat Alabama to open the season. They're 2-3 since then. Pick out whoever you think the best team in the country is, and there's not that much of a gap, Musso, between them and the next half a dozen teams. And if I had to say right now, how many teams have a realistic chance to make the playoffs? And I know we're just reaching the halfway point, but I think that number is closer to 25 than it is to, say 15 or 16. There's a lot of teams. Everybody's got issues, okay? I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. LSU's issues are real. I get it.
Boy.
But find me a team that doesn't have some hole somewhere in their game.
I mean, I think the 2 teams you're going to hear most in that are Ohio State and Miami. I mean, Hanny, I've been really impressed with Miami. I mean, that Carson Beck looks like a completely different quarterback than he did a year ago. Change of scenery, different coaching, all of that, and he's got some great weapons, obviously, there in South Beach. But their defense, man, Mario Cristobal, that defense that he has is awesome. I was really impressed with their game against Florida State because while the score was close, that game did not feel close, really watching it. And then Ohio State, I mean, they haven't really played anybody outside of that game against Texas, but then again, what you're saying, how good really is Texas in that sense? But Ohio State's defense looks like they have just not missed a beat. Would you like a little bit more explosiveness on offense maybe so far through? Well, they've played 6 games now. Maybe, but that defense, it's hard to argue against that being the best in the country.
Ohio State has played a couple of decent teams.
Yeah.
The win over Illinois today, I think Illinois is probably about an 8-win team. They beat Washington last week. Washington is probably about an 8-win team-ish. So they've beaten a couple of good, decent teams, not great teams, but decent teams. I'll give Ohio State their due. I'm not. I would be surprised they're not in the playoff. Miami. Here's what I like. You're right about Beck. Beck looks fine. He's always had the physical tools. You've always wondered, about the leadership aspect of his game. And their offensive and defensive lines, that might be the best combination in the top 10 right now. Up front, they are very, very good. Mario Cristobal makes me nervous. There are game day mistakes that he has made in the past that have been real fundamental errors, and it's cost Miami. And it's cost other teams that he's coached.
Specifically in the month of November.
Yeah, so that makes me nervous about Miami. Not the on the field. What I've seen of that is really, really good. Cristobal makes me a little bit. If you're in close quarters, you're in a field goal touchdown game, and he's got to make a big call. That worries me a little bit.
No, I'm with you there. You're not wrong. I mean, like I said, especially in the month of November, that has just been the boogeyman for Mario Cristobal. We'll see. I mean, it was last year. I mean, the game against Syracuse. We'll see what happens with him this year. But at this point, I was going to say that Florida State, but I was going to say find me 2 better wins so far this season, but now Florida State's 3-3. So it goes to your point of where we started this whole conversation, Hanny, of who's really good.
The win against Notre Dame looked pretty good, too. Notre Dame's in a dogfight with another sort of a so-so team in NC State. Yeah, they're not bad. I like the quarterback, Bailey, a little bit, but they're certainly no world beaters, and that's a 3-point game at the half in South Bend. And what's the most surprising about that game, if you'd have told me 3-point game at the half, I'd have said 24-21, not 10-7. So the defenses have played a little bit better. We were not able to connect with Chris Blair. Something came up, I guess. So we're gonna move on in the program, take another break, and we'll come back here, and we'll get you up to date on everything that has happened today in college football. Our LeBearish countdown to kickoff is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let ESPN Bet at LaBerge be your game day headquarters. This is Eagle 98.1.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
98.1.
Renovation, new build, we solve it all. See the work at westleyusa.com or follow us on LinkedIn.
Eagle 98.1, WDGL and AC1 Baton Rouge. 98.1 Game Day. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln on airline under the giant American flag.
58-yard field goal by Indiana at the first half gun was good. The number 7 Hoosiers lead the number 3 Ducks 13-10. Dante Moore has gone 11 for 17, 123 yards and a touchdown for Oregon. On the other side of the ledger, Fernando Mendoza, 10 of 16 for 110 yards for Indiana in a very, very good ball game up in Eugene. Also halftime at the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma, ranked 6th in the country, leads Texas by a score of 6-3. John Mateer, 13 of 21 for 119 yards, but he's thrown 2 interceptions in this game. Arch Manning, 10 of 14, only 69 yards, as the Texas offense managed only a $114 in the first half. Number 13, Georgia Tech leads Virginia Tech 21-7. Haynes King has thrown a touchdown pass for Tech, who's trying to get to 6-0. We told you a second ago, number 16, Notre Dame leads NC State 10-7. That game is at the half. C.J. Carr has thrown for 182 yards in the first half, but has also thrown an interception. Number 22, Iowa State leading Colorado 10-7 at the half in Boulder. They've just started the third quarter at Penn State. Nittany Lions lead Northwestern 14-13. So if you thought, well, Penn State's going to take out their frustrations on Northwestern this week, and I certainly did.
I did too.
Not so much. Katron Allen for Penn State has run for 66 yards and a touchdown, but that one's close. Nebraska leads Maryland at the half 24-17. Malik Washington for Maryland, 152 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Wake Forest leads Oregon State 25-0 at the half. Wake quarterback Deshaun Purdy, 3 touchdown passes in the first 2 quarters. Kansas State leads TCU at the half 14-7. Avery Johnson's thrown a touchdown pass for K-State. Air Force leads UNLV 21-20. They have just started the third quarter in Las Vegas. At halftime, App State leads Georgia State 17-0. Just starting the third quarter at Marshall. Marshall leads ODU 24-10. Midway through the third quarter, Western Michigan leads Ball State 21-0. Temple leads Navy 10-7. They're just about to the half there in Philadelphia. Temple has the ball at the Navy 1-yard line, trying to punch it in the last 30 seconds. Arkansas leads number 12 Tennessee 17-10. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Taylon Green has thrown for 79 yards, but he's also run for a touchdown, and Arkansas has the lead. Look, we're talking about those teams that are good but have holes, and they're good but not great. Put Tennessee probably in that bucket
for sure
too.
The defense is starting to really lack for the Vols.
Go to earlier finals today. Number 1 Ohio State beat Illinois 34-16. Number 4 Ole Miss beat Washington State 24-21. Trinidad Chambliss a couple of touchdown passes, and Kejuan Lacey with 142 yards on the ground for the Rebels. This one was close throughout. It was 10-7 at the half. Second half was a wash. It was a very, very close game up in Oxford. Number 8 Alabama beat number 14 Missouri 27-24. Ty Simpson threw 3 touchdown passes for the Tide. Pittsburgh, behind freshman quarterback Mason Heinchel, beat number 25 Florida State 34-31. The freshman for Pitt, who went into the starting lineup last week and engineered that 48-7 win against Boston College, makes his first road start and accounts for 385 yards of total offense. UCLA, brand new team with the coaching change. They pound Michigan State today 38-13. Nico Amaleva threw 3 touchdown passes for the Bruins. SMU beat Stanford 34-10. It was Cincinnati over UCF 20-11. Bearcats are now 5-1 and a perfect 3-0 in the Big 12. Houston also goes to 5-1. They beat Oklahoma State 39-17 because the coaching change doesn't always work.
Yeah, it depends on where you are.
You need a few more players maybe. James Madison beats UL Lafayette 24-14. Army over Charlotte 24-7. Miami of Ohio over Akron 20-7. Bowling Green beat Toledo 28-23. And Eastern Michigan beat Northern Illinois by a score of 16-10. Games to follow later today. Starting in about 30 minutes, UAB is at Florida Atlantic. 6 o'clock kick in College Station for Florida, and number 5 Texas A&M. What say you on the number 5 and undefeated Aggies?
Well, I love that the defense for them, well, let me rephrase that, I don't love it, but, you know, the defense for them is really taking a turn. I mean, that was a problem early. They went on the road up to South Bend, gave up a bunch of points, struggled with some inferior competition, giving up some points and yards. The defensive front, though, I mean, it looks like they really haven't missed a beat, and they lost a lot off of that unit a year ago. I don't know if I'm totally there on Marcel Reed yet, Hanny, as a passer. I think he makes some really good throws at times, but I think there is still some polish. But what's helped is, well, now they're starting to really run the football around him.
They're running the football. The other thing is, since Mike Elko took over, they gave up in the first 3 games 86 points. In the last 2, since Elko started calling defenses, they've given up 19. So it's a big, big difference in the A&M defense after the first 3 games of the season. Iowa is at Wisconsin at 6 o'clock. I haven't looked at Wisconsin's team total. I'm not even sure that there is a team total out on them. But if they can score against that defense, I'll be very, very surprised because Wisconsin has struggled offensively so far this year, and Iowa's got a pretty salty defense. They held this Indiana group that we're watching play with Oregon to 20 points. Yeah. It's not a small task. San Jose State is at Wyoming. Also at 6 o'clock, UL Monroe's at Coastal Carolina. 6:30 kick for Kansas at number 9, Texas Tech. You like the Red Raiders.
I do like the Red Raiders, man, and mainly for the defense. I mean, when they went over to Utah and completely just shut down the Utes to the tune of 10 points, forced, I think, 3 first-half turnovers in that game, I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe money well spent. And they've just completely kept rolling week after week. This is interesting, though, to me, Haney, though, because Jalen Daniels is a hell of an athlete at quarterback. That will be a test for that defense, but, I mean, I'm not betting against them right now.
Daniels has 16 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions on the season. 6:30 kickoff at Jordan-Hare for number 10 Georgia and Auburn. This Auburn defense has been fantastic. The Auburn offense, not so much. Stop me if you've heard that one before. For Auburn, their problem has mostly been in protecting the quarterback, the number of sacks that they've given up. Part of that on the offensive line, part of that on Jackson Arnold, and just holding the ball a little bit too long. Number 15, Michigan, is at USC. This game is a 6:30 kick at the Mausoleum. USC under Lincoln Riley. Let me see if I got my stat right here.
I think I know where you're going with this.
As a home favorite, 13-7. As a road favorite, 3-11. So this game is in Los Angeles. We'll see. You know, Bryce Underwood has already had a big road game under his belt. I think that's important. He's been to Oklahoma. They've been to Nebraska. Now they go to the Coliseum. Jordan Maeva for USC leads the nation. Quarterback leads the nation in yards per attempt, and has only thrown 1 interception. He's got numbers that look. You'll remember this name from a few years back. Hendon Hooker, when he was at Tennessee, who had either the highest or one of the highest yards per attempt in the country, but only just a few interceptions. Maeva's playing a little bit like that.
For sure, and the protection of the football with those yards per attempts is what's so impressive. Lincoln Riley, man, the guy's an offensive wizard.
Purdue is at Minnesota. Clemson is at Boston College. It's a 6:30 kick on the ACC network. Clemson got a little bit of mojo back last week with the pounding of North Carolina, but how good of a win really is that?
It's not.
Bill Belichick put out a statement this week about how committed he was to the North Carolina program. Now, he issued the statement on vacation in Nantucket, but still, I mean.
But he issued the statement.
Yeah, right. I mean, somebody had to write that for him and put that out. School also put out something. Hey, we are committed to this guy. Now, he's on vacation, but when he gets back, he's going to be 100% all in. Rice is at Texas San Antonio. 7 o'clock kick for number 18 BYU at Arizona. Also a 7 o'clock kickoff for Troy at Texas State. 8:45 tonight, New Mexico is at Boise State. 9:15 for number 21 Arizona State at Utah. No Sam Leavitt for Arizona State today. Their starting quarterback is out for this game. 9:30 kickoff, San Diego State is at Nevada, and the late game is Utah State at Hawaii. That is an 11 o'clock kickoff from the island. And Musso, if you stretch it out just a little bit, okay, you can probably watch you got to find somewhere that's on TV.
I was about to say, do we have TV for that game tonight? It doesn't look like it.
No, but if the game goes into several overtimes and you just want to have time to take a quick shower and maybe grab some breakfast, you could go straight from the Hawaii game to the London game tomorrow between the Broncos and the Jets. It starts at 8:30 from London. We'll take a break here at Rouse's. Cover your game day spread here at Rouse's. Just a short drive over to Tiger Stadium. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradled
98.1.
Second halves in the 2:30 windows are getting underway right now. Texas with a drive deep in Oklahoma territory here in the third quarter. They trail it by a score of 6-3. All right, Musso, what are your thoughts about tonight's game?
Hanny, I'm in complete prove-it mode with the offense, and specifically the running game. I mean, look, since Jaden Daniels left, you haven't had a running game. So for me, it's just really hard to look at anything. Whether it's, you get Caden Durham back, that should help. Okay, will it? Like, I don't know. I mean, I understand Caden Durham's extremely talented. That's fine. You have to go prove it. And I think that the thing that's so frustrating is you've seen at times LSU have success with certain things, and then you just don't see them again. Like, I think that is what's so frustrating. You want to talk about the I formation against Florida? Fine, that's one instance, and maybe they don't have the personnel to do that all the time. Okay, fine, that I'll hear that. But you have it to work in certain situations for you. They ran a bunch of short yardage stuff with Juwan Johnson at quarterback in fall camp. We haven't seen any of that yet. Do something else to mix it up. Earlier in the year, Haney, they were doing the non-traditional runs, right? It feels like those have even gone by the wayside a little bit. You want to line up, call a play, run the play, I'm fine with that. But for me, you have to go prove it. Because for right now, I mean, I haven't seen anything in more than a year that gives me any confidence that I should have that you're going to be able to go out there and run the football against an opposing team, no matter how bad their defense may be.
Well, to running the football is an attitude, and you have to be committed to it. Yeah. If we've seen so many times over the years, teams that you run it, it doesn't work. You run it, doesn't work. But eventually, you start to break through, and I would like to see LSU make a little bit more of a conscious effort to run the football. The personnel certainly helps. We've stated our preferences. My preference would be Matt's preference, Gordy's preference, Richard's preference. All of it. Karius Kern in the game because he's one of the offensive linemen that we think can bring some physicality up front. I think Cohen Eccles is another guy that can be. But even if you have those guys in there, I mean, look, they played most of last week's game, and LSU, they didn't call any runs. I mean, it's very difficult when you're not calling it. I think Brian Kelly got the message I think he went back and looked at the plan, and by his own words, I didn't like our plan. Okay, well, it's your responsibility to fix the plan, which he certainly knows. I wouldn't be surprised if he had more input on this game plan than maybe any since the opener this season. We'll see if that translates, because Kelly has also said, listen, we're not a power running team that is based in that is not who we are. That's not how we're going to win a championship, and I agree. But there has to be some of that. But as important as that is, and as much time as we have stressed about this over the last 2 weeks, it's story 2 for me. Story 1 is Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah. If Nussmeier is healthy the way Kelly has suggested, and I think Kelly's being transparent here, but I also think he's just as befuddled as the rest of us how this has come and gone on Nussmeier, where some throws are very crisp and others look like he's really ailing. And I can only go back to this injury flares up on him sometimes worse than others. We saw Drew Brees in one of his seasons with the Saints fight this oblique all year, and it was very evident on his deep balls that he was having a hard time getting the ball down the field like that because he was in pain. And I think that Nussmeier has had some of those problems as well. Every injury is different, every player is different, but I think he's had some of that has hindered him. Is 2 weeks, Kelly said a month ago, hey, we'll get to the bye week, then everything. Is 2 weeks enough? Does it take an off season? I don't know. I sound like a broken record, that Garrett Nussmeier is the only person who knows how this feels. So that's why this game is so difficult for me to forecast. I can give you a score, but numbers are all it is. I have to try to guess what kind of physical shape Nussmeier is going to be in, and I don't know. Could be great, could be terrible, could be somewhere in between. That, to me, is number 1 in my analysis of this game. And then once you get past all of that, you have to do something with Lenora Sellers. Sellers damn near beat you by himself last year. Okay, that was a good defense, but in the first half, the offense belonged to him. And he's a year older. I think he's a year better. His incompletion rate, his miss rate, not just the completion percentage, but his miss rate is a lot better than it was last year. In fact, it's twice as good. He's cut the number of bad misses in half from a year ago. These balls that are very off target, he's cut that number in half. He has been injured, and he doesn't have a running game to work with. So if LSU can make them one-dimensional, that is the best way to really be able to affect Lenora Sellers, who's been sacked 15 times this year. And we're talking about a quarterback with some strength to shake off some tackles and some mobility, and he's still been sacked 15 times. They'll be without 3 offensive linemen tonight. This is LSU's defense's opportunity to smell blood in the water. Thanks to everybody for participating. We'll be back 90 minutes after the game from all of us here at Rouse's. I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Enjoy the game. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
As your Tigers host South Carolina in an SEC tilt. LSU looking to get back to its winning ways. It's the Gamecocks and the Fighting Tigers on a Saturday night in Death Valley.